Would you first like to introduce yourself to people? Because you're quite an accomplished person. You've written, this is your fourth book now that you've got out. And
hmm
if you want to do a little shameless self-promotion, I'd be happy
y-
to. Or do you want to wait till the end?
no, it's either one. This is recording, right? I'm totally new to Skype. I'm
Yes,
sorry. I can
yes,
tell it's recording. Is it
yes,
on? Okay.
it is.
I'm James True. I'm an author. My fourth book's about to come out.
Oh,
It
right,
hasn't
okay.
come out yet, but it's really close,
Hmm.
and it's called Quantum Rapture. It's a sci-fi novel. But the last two books, my latest is Technology Belief. It deals with the essence of what belief is as a physical plasma.
Hmm.
And book before that is Blueprints of Mind Control, which basically is meant to unwrap you from the inversion that's been surrounding your mind on purpose for nefarious reasons. And then my very, very first book is actually just an autobiography of how I got here and where I'm at and stuff. I have a YouTube channel. I used to be on the internet, and I don't think that that's helpful anymore. I am pulling out as of yesterday. I'm pulling out of the internet as much as I can. There needs to. I used to decode a lot, and
Okay.
now it's time to encode. I used to decode what they were doing, and now what's important is that I start encoding. I need to encode things for the next generation because this generation is has lost this war, and it's going to get really bad really fast. And the reason why I'm off the internet is because as I see everyone, they're clinging for hope, and my message of what we could do is being ignored because it's too expensive. It's a difficult thing to accept, and people are just going to scroll right by it and just find a joke or pretend like a magic savior is coming or whatever else. It's a coping mechanism, and because we've lost the internet now, I think it's important that I stop using it. If anyone sees my stuff, they're just going to be encouraged to keep scrolling, to keep coming back to a wall and scroll. And that's only going to do us more damage because I just don't have a big enough megaphone compared to the zeitgeist that I'm up against. So I'm changing my tactics now and sort of going underground and trying to develop some sort of underground communication system where humans can communicate using the machine's system, but still be able to actually talk to each other. As I'm saying this out loud, this is all brand new. It's the first time I've said it. I admit it sounds like I'm kind of crazy, like a Mad Max situation, but I'm fully aware of what is happening around me, and I just don't give a shit if anyone else isn't. I just don't care what they think anymore about it. So.
No, I think you're quite right. The people who have such loud megaphones, they don't ever use it for the right reasons, do they? They just want to promote themselves and get their promo codes and do all that and just perpetuate the beast, really, don't they? So I really commend you for what you're doing. I'm really impressed. There's a lot of things that you tweet about, and I think where to start? The whole Q thing, if we can start there. This QAnon thing is just, it's either you hate it or love it, or you mock it. So I personally didn't really get into the message board things, but I see a lot of videos of people who try to decode it, as you say, and try to make sense of it. And I saw you posted something that you said you know who it is. So can you please shed some light on that? Like, who is it? What is it? What's going on? What can we make of their followers? And is this message, is it a psyop like everyone says, or is it little nuggets of information, or what do we make of that?
If you were to hunt an animal in the forest and set a trap, you would use food,
Hmm.
and you would not plastic food. You would use food. You could not put a rubber cheeseburger under a box and expect a tiger to think it's food. You have to put real food out. And what you have is humans going, well, why would they put real food out, James? That makes no sense at all. I don't understand why they would put real food out. Obviously, you're lying and they're right because here they are putting out real food. And so I'm going to go ahead and climb in this rabbit hole and eat some of that. That's what you're seeing happening. So it's sorry, my alarm's going off.
No, it's fine. Is
The
this like
reason
chump bait
why.
you're talking about a little bit? They're chumming the water because it's nuggets of truth, but also you're getting trapped in it.
So I think to answer your question, I think it's important to look back about 25 years. I
Okay.
think that the Great Awakening has been on organic soil based. The soil has sort of released spores into the air, into our minds of anyone who would listen to. If you're going to do anything, now's the time to awaken. There's literally the energy of the soil is coming at you from below, and the energy of the evil, or the zeitgeist. I even hate to call it evil. It's more like derangement is coming from the top. And you have a competition. So the Great Awakening is the earth disseminating this information, and it's like a white blood cells. It's releasing these white blood cells into the air, and those of us, I'm just happen to be one of many, have received that charge, and it tapped our root into the soil and are now gaining information from it. The things that I know now, I did not know 2 years ago. I had no clue. I was completely in the dark. I am not in the light now. I am always awakening. I'm not at a point where I know what's happening right now. I am never woke. If you think you're woke, you're asleep. Woke is a snooze button that's been placed on the Great Awakening as a strategy. I'm saying all this now because I want people to understand what QAnon is. Everyone in QAnon who follows QAnon, before they followed QAnon, had one thing in common. They believed that something wasn't correct. They believed that there was nefarious things that were still afoot. They believed 9/11 was an inside job. They believed all the things that we're told not to believe. They were true. That is the animal that QAnon is hunting. They're hunting for a very specific animal. They're hunting for a dangerous animal. The dangerous animal is the one that knows what's up, or is suspicious of what's up.
That's a good way
The
of
ones
putting
that
it.
are not suspicious are not a threat to QAnon. So QAnon has no interest in going after them. Okay? QAnon is a division of naval warfare intelligence. And it was started by a man named Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon is someone who's had a long history. He started out at Harvard, which gives you that connection to Israel. Harvard was recently uncovered as being tied in with Wexner, where it was a constant.
Les Wexner?
Yes, where these are back and forth entities, and basically the control structure that runs America is not inside of America. It's not even in Israel. People are wrong to think it's in Israel. This is not about Israel.
No.
Countries are not what we think they are. Israel is just as much of a victim as America is. America is a caterpillar. There is a division inside of Israel that is a wasp. That wasp is called Mossad. It is a specialized, genetically bred, psychopathic elite army that has been put into play thousands of years ago, hundreds of years ago. These are devout. You would find the exact same thing if you were to look at fundamentalist Christians. You would find that some of them are just really intense and just really, really into what they're doing. And when you have a psychopath that you've bred, they have children, and then those children have children, and all you're doing is making it that much stronger. People who want to fulfill this, what they think is God talking to them, have used these Mossad families to breed a very dangerous psychopathic evil army that can infiltrate. This is ISIS. A lot of people think that ISIS is Israel's worst enemy, but ISIS is a division of Mossad. It came from Mossad. If you're listening to me and think that I'm hating Israel, I need you to rewind about 30 seconds and listen to what I just said. This has nothing to fucking do with Israel. This is just happens to be the carcass where the wasp laid its last eggs.
No, you're right.
A caterpillar is a fat creature on a leaf. That is America. It's sitting there in the middle of the open. It's got beautiful stripes on it. It's just there to eat. A wasp will land. The wasp will not kill the caterpillar. It doesn't want to kill the caterpillar. It wants the caterpillar alive. It will paralyze the caterpillar long enough and actually lay its eggs inside the caterpillar then it will leave. It will protect that caterpillar if it has to. It will call that caterpillar its territory. It will give the caterpillar whatever it needs to get fat and thrive. Because children are inside it. The wasp and the caterpillar is what's happened here, and Steve Bannon is one of those wasps. Steve Bannon is not Mossad. Steve Bannon is worse than Mossad. Steve Bannon is an evacuated human. He's evacuated himself through a psychosis that Native Americans called Wetiko. It's a form of...
I looked that up. That was very interesting what you've... Yeah.
It's a soul evacuation.
Yeah.
And the reason why you're seeing so many people that are broadcasting hope right now, those are people that have that same disease. And because they're broadcasting hope, they're the ones that will always rise to the top and get hundreds of thousands of followers. It will happen every time because they are looking for heroin to distribute to anyone else. It's a narcotic. And when you have a bunch of people that have no faith in themselves, that think that they're evil, that are looking for a savior outside of themselves, they're going to go to heroin. They're going to enjoy that narcotic. That's what they want. They will tell you that what they want is truth, but they don't. They don't have the endocrine system for it. They reject fear. They reject all the feelings that are actually there to help you. They consider bad, and they try and offset them. So the purpose of QAnon is to capture any animals that might be dangerous to that wasp's children. Okay, so it's going to leave all the fat people alone. It's only going to go for the ones that suspected that 9/11 is an inside job. It needs those people. And what it does is it injects heroin into those people by saying there's a secret underground, white hat, golden knight, Batman force that the moment JFK died, decided that they would stay underground and commit more atrocities for 30 and 40 years for the sole purpose of waiting for Donald Trump to come and then rescue. It shows you how bad the delusion is. And right now, if you go online, you will see that actually, no, it's the JFK Jr.'s been alive the whole time, and everything's going to be great, and 5G is here to take out the bad guys.
Just trust the plan.
Yes, and we're going to trust. That is heroin. That's what heroin does. If you're in a house and it's burning, but you're laying on the bed in heroin, you're going to be fine with it. Mm-hmm. It's okay. It's not that big a deal, man. Why are you harshing my vibe?
Yeah.
Fuck with my truth, man. The truth is right here. Why are you trying to bring in this nasty stuff? I don't want coffee. I don't want water. I don't want to detox. I want to stay right here in the bed. And this thing tells me that it's the truth. This heroin's telling me that it's all working out, man. But it's only going to work out if I trust. It's only going to work out if I lay here in bed and just keep taking that vein. Mm-hmm. It's a strategic effort to stymie and destroy the most dangerous people that were in America that would have stopped what is happening right now. If the people in QAnon were not in QAnon, there would be 1 million of James Trues out there. And that would be an unstoppable force. But there's not. There's one James True. There's maybe 5. That's what I'm seeing right now. More of me are coming. Mm-hmm. More of me are waking up every day. But it's going to be a slow haul. And QAnon knows that. The white blood cells that are coming, that are going to be awakened, are going to be coming in force. But it's not going to be in time for this phase. It's not. We're not going to be able to force us to go back to work, because right now the most important thing we could possibly do is go back to work. The most important thing we could do right now is actually lick each other's face in public and rub our arms and elbows up against each other and prove that this is not what we've been told. But instead we're hearing false rumors about, no, it can survive on your shoe for 5 days, or we have the right to know if our neighbors are infected. The perfect weapon is on us right now. Yeah. This is 9/12. This is 9/11 phase 2. Yeah. And not one person has ever been punished for 9/11. Yeah. So why in the hell would they not do it again, people? What has stopped them?
Absolutely.
Look at all the propaganda. So that's what's happening now. It's a pillage. During a crisis, citizens loot, governments pillage. This is a pillage. And you're not going to be able to point to one thing and go, oh, it's for money. No, you're in denial. It's not for money. Oh, it's for 5G. No, it's actually not for 5G. Oh, it's for forced vaccinations. No, it's not. You guys aren't thinking big enough. These people think big. They want big. They're not going to waste their entire life being a psychopath and not do something big. These are artists, and we are their canvas. That is what you're seeing right now. They are painting masterpieces to fucking God, to show God that this masterpiece, and that's what you're seeing right now. So all of this is devotion. The people that are on heroin in bed are devoted to it. It's a religion. The people that are injecting the heroin into you is religion. They're putting that in there too, and that's what's happening to all our plasma, our belief. It's going to the wrong people. It's going to the wrong things. That's why I'm lucky to have 9,000 followers on Twitter, even though I've been screaming this. I've been right every single fucking time. Well, on 10/10/2018, I said, this is going to be the date. Here it is. It's right here. We're going to see a massive market drop. The market dropped to the boiling point of sulfur. That's how much control they have over this thing, is that they use magic in such a strong way that they can drop the economy, the Dow, to an exact specific number, which is sulfur. They did that on the exact day that I said, guys, 10/10/2018 is when this is going to hit, and then that's going to be the final that this is going to kick off. Every single thing I've said has happened true, except for one. I used to believe in QAnon. When I first got into the truth movement, I took the heroin and tried to say, yeah, how does this work? This is fucking great, man. I really want to fight. I'm a veteran. I really want to fight for my country. How do I do this?
Right.
And it was only because I kept decoding. It was only because I kept saying, I don't know if this is the best thing. I don't like what he's saying. I don't like hearing about popcorn. I don't like hearing about shows. I don't like hearing about trusting something that you haven't published. I don't like that there's an anonymous voice inside of a rabbit hole, and each of us walk by it, and the anonymous voice whispers out, I've got free candy. I've got free candy. And that's what's happened. I sort of missed what Steve Bannon is. I'd be happy to describe more and try and prove that to people if you want.
Yeah, go for it. It's your time to shine, James. You let us know what you know, because people don't know this, and this is so important. I'm so glad that you can share this with us.
After Steve Bannon left Harvard, he went to into the Navy. He joined Naval Warfare Intelligence. He was enlisted as an officer. He was elevated very quickly. After he got out of the military, he went to Hollywood. The first thing he did is he helped produce an anti-Hillary documentary. This is really important. He learned the art of Hollywood from Hollywood. Mm-hmm. And after that, he came to Breitbart. When he came to Breitbart, Andrew Breitbart was running Breitbart.
Right.
Breitbart and Steve Bannon are both loyal Zionists. They've been born that way. It's been bred into them. What that means is when they're born, someone chopped the end of their penis off and said, you're dirty. And if you do well, and if you serve God, at the end, you might get salvation. And Steve and Andrew believe that. That's their conviction. And they were fighting for the chosen people. They believed in Israel as the chosen people. They believed that it's important that they serve them. And so their entire life has been devoted to that act. These people are not pretending. This is what they truly believe. No one is pretending. You're hearing people tell you, oh, well, he's secretly lying. No.
No, I think they're believers. Oh, for sure.
There's no way you would see through it. People like me would know they're lying. It's the same thing with a rubber cheeseburger. Mm-hmm. Guys, it's not that fucking simple. They're going to have to use real bait. Mm-hmm. If you want magic, you're going to have to put a sacrifice in. That sacrifice is going to be that cheeseburger, which means it's going to be truth. Now, in order to sacrifice that, you're going to have to burn some things. And that's why something very – check this out. Mm. Breitbart broke the story on Pizzagate.
Yep.
Anthony Weiner, his laptop.
Yep.
Epstein Island.
Yep.
Epstein himself. Every one of those stories, plus Hillary Clinton, every horrible story you've ever heard about Hillary Clinton came from Breitbart. Okay? They all came from the same place. And what that does is what it is always done. If you walk into a village and you say, hey, I'm here to hunt witches. You guys got any witches? People are going to be like, no, everything's fine. Mm-hmm. That witch hunter is going to leave town and go, I'm going to have to do something about this. He's going to take one lamb, one person in that village, and he's going to sacrifice him. And then he's going to come back the next day and go, hey, you guys got any witches? They're going to be like, well, yeah, look what happened. This weird thing happened. This someone cut this lamb's throat. They smeared all this blood on the wall. They put the satanic symbol on there. And then they said, we're pedophiles and we're coming for you. It's Pizzagate is true and false.
Right.
Guys, cheeseburger. Of course it's going to have some truth in it.
Oh, it's definitely real. Pedos are real. I mean, guys, let's face it. Yeah.
Just like when you watch a commercial with food on it, and some of you guys know how it's filmed. That actually,
oh, it's like shaving cream. It's not really ice cream. It's all fake.
Yeah. It's the same kind of thing, except for you smell it, you taste it, and when you put it in your mouth, it's good because you want justice. You want the witch gone. You want the burning. Hillary Clinton is the whore of Babylon. That's her archetype is the whore of Babylon. She's serving a role. Hillary Clinton's not being attacked. She's playing a role. She understands that's her job. She understands that's what she has to do to serve and to carry this thing out. Hillary is not upset at Trump. Trump is not upset at Hillary. It would be just as silly to think if you're watching a professional wrestling match that, well, that guy just hit that dude with a chair. So, I would imagine tonight he's going to go over to his house and fucking kill his family. And no, they're having dinner.
Hillary was at Trump's wedding, guys, to Melania. Like, come on.
Yeah. This is pro wrestling.
They were living, weren't they, like both New York Democrats before he became president? So, like, guys, please. Yeah.
What politics is not what you think it is. And
what did Andrew Breitbart say? Politics is show business for ugly people.
Yeah. Yep. It's a great quote. It really does wrap up exactly what's happening. And if you're going to be ugly, you're going to have to put charisma on the screen. Yeah. And there's nothing more charismatic than Pizzagate. There's nothing more charismatic than watching Liz Crokin freak out and say, oh, my God, we got to fucking do this, and Trump's coming, and Jesus is here. Jesus sent me an email and said he's coming. Everyone sit your ass down and shove this heroin suppository up your ass because everything's fine. And everyone's like, well, I can listen to Liz Crokin or I can listen to James True. Fuck that guy. No. He's telling me I need to activate. He's telling me I need to do stuff to try and fix this. Well, no way. And he's telling me Pizzagate isn't real. And I never said Pizzagate wasn't real. I'm trying to explain how it works. But because it's so nuanced, most people aren't willing to spend the calories to even hear what I'm saying. So they'll walk away going, well, James claims Pizzagate isn't real, therefore it isn't. And then, well, James, I don't care who it is. I don't care what it is. I don't care what happens. I just want them to pay. And I'm like, bingo. Exactly. You have zero thought for trial. People are even happy that Epstein died because it's like, no, he got justice. And it's like, no.
Allegedly. No, I'm kidding.
Even if he was killed, that's not justice.
No, it's
justice
not. No.
Tone. Justice is a tone struck in the mind that says we've tried this guy. Yep. Even though he did evil, we did our best to remain good as we prosecuted him through the situation. That's not what happened at all. Now, if you want to understand what really happened with Epstein, you got to look at Bannon because so Bannon was CEO of Trump's campaign. He got Trump elected. Yeah.
And then they fell out, though. What happened there?
So here's what happened.
Okay.
Now that Bannon has completed his role as CEO of Trump's campaign, he now has to initiate Operation Q. He doesn't want anyone to associate Q with the White House. It's not going to work that way because he's trying to get people like me. He's trying to get people that already don't trust the government. Okay. He can't say this can't be a Trump operation. We're going to smell that hamburger and go, fuck that dude. No, it smells like, no, I'm not even going to buy that. So you have to reject that. So what does Trump do? He calls Steve Bannon Sloppy Steve.
Yeah, Sloppy Steve.
Kicks him out of the White House in public, like a very
disgraced sort of
public, quote disgraced kind of a thing. 10 weeks after was QAnon's first post.
Right.
Hillary Clinton would be arrested the following morning. That was 10 weeks later.
Well, she still ain't arrested, so.
We'll get there, though. Steve Bannon was fired exactly 1 year and a day after he was hired on his White House staff. This is how you talk to the elite. There's a difference between what you tell the public versus what you tell the elite. If Steve Bannon stays on as at 1 year, he is now a tenured, it's the wrong word, tenure, but he gets the retirement package. He gets all the benefits of being that former employee. Okay. But also it gets written in history. Even though it says Sloppy Steve, anyone like me can plainly see, well, no, Now, this is just clearly what he's doing. These are all timed events. This is part of the Kabbalism. These guys use numbers as a resonance.
Yes.
It's a form of resonance. This is not to be dastardly. This has nothing to fucking do with a goat god. Shut the hell up about that stuff. This is pure Kabbalistic resonance. That's all it is. If I'm going to get up on stage and play an awesome song, I'm going to tune my guitar.
Yeah.
I'm going to guitar to be tuned to the bass. If we're in tune, we're going to play better music and people are going to listen. You have to have resonance. These people understand how resonance works. Now, after Bannon left the White House, after he posted with Hillary Clinton, he started posting hard on QAnon, pushing, promising everything. We're going to release the cures. We're going to take away every bad guy, every disease you've been told is a fraud, every this, every that. That is the hamburger. That is the real life cheeseburger under the trap. It's real. Yeah. But it's in there, and it's going to bring people like me into that and go, well, wait a minute. Q's anonymous. The White House is denying who he is. Everyone's not even talking about it.
Oh, even mainstream news, they're like, oh, this new conspiracy theory, Q.
Yes.
It's always, if they're saying look right, just look left, because it's never what they say.
Fox, setting the stick up and going, you guys come on. That's why every single media said the same exact thing. Yeah. Trump's an outlier. No one thought he would win. It's exactly the opposite. It's literally exactly the opposite. Yeah. But if you're going to have a wrestling match, you're not going to have it between Joe the plumber and Bob the electrician. No one's going to give a shit. It needs to be between the dark, dastardly desert dog versus the awesome, amazing super guy, that kind of thing. Yeah. It needs to be dramatic. It needs to be a really, really big sense of show to it. That's why everyone has to be painted in such an extreme way. You have to have that extreme to bring people in. Heroin's not going to be appealing if it doesn't jack you the second it enters your system. Yeah. And that's what Pizzagate is. It's the heroin that makes that happen. Guys, I'm wrong about this too. I am not shaming anyone for being misguided by this. This is just how the world works. We've been surrounded in distance. We've been brought up in it. I simply am lucky because I happen to have my feet touching the soil when I got some of her wisdom, when she started telling me, this is bullshit, James. This is bullshit. Look harder. Wake up, James. You're not awake. Wake up. Wake up. That's the only thing different. I'm just like all you guys. And I'm tired of people saying, how do you know this secret stuff? I don't. None of this is secret. I'm simply watching the battlefield. All I'm doing is taking notes. I was trained in the Navy as a sub hunter. It was my job. It was my job. Everyone on the ship was depending on me to make sure that an enemy from the deep was not going to come and blow us away. I take my job seriously. I'm still doing that job. But I'm the one who's being called non-patriotic. I'm the one who's being called Assad. I'm the one that's being called, well, no, you're the evil one trying to infiltrate the White Hats and trying to stop them from what they're doing. Meanwhile, you've got accounts like Storm is Upon Us on Twitter, who's always in trending, literally hundreds of thousands of people. Twitter is throttling him. And he's putting out posts that are getting 10,000 retweets that says, I am being suppressed. I am being and that is trending. That is trending. And people are still buying it. They're like, yeah, this heroin, they're trying to stop the heroin flow. We got to inject more heroin. We got you right now. And that's why you see all these false messiahs are raised. That's why you see all these different accounts come up that are promising you, giving you whatever you want. Like Praying Medic's a good example of that. You have all these different accounts that these aren't even employed. Storm is Upon Us is an actual naval warfare op. He's sitting in a trailer. It's a team of people that are sitting there posting bullshit. It's because how do you fight a war?
Disinformation. Mind, yeah.
That's what Michael Aquino wrote a book about it, Mind War. Literally, he was just exposing, here's all the Pentagon papers. Here's what we did. We talked about how, hey, we can save a shitload of money if we don't bomb. We just go in and just tell them what they want to fucking hear and just steer them around with like a fish hook. That's all this is. That's all they're doing. That's what this happened. Now, Bannon is actually tied to Epstein in a lot of ways. Okay. First of all, the day Epstein went to prison was exactly 1 year to the day that Steve Bannon was caught going into Epstein's house for a meeting. It was 7 a.m. Some reporters caught him going in to meet Epstein in his mansion. Exactly 1 year later. is when Epstein died.
They
And
actually revealed this? I mean, since when are reporters doing their job?
well, that was just a paparazzi. They were just
Okay, okay. So it wasn't actually reported on. It was just like
yeah.
happenstance.
No,
Okay.
paparazzi was just trying to make some money. It was
Sure.
outside of Epstein's house, and one of the people that walked in was Bannon.
Right.
They're not going to go, wonder why, da da da. I'm the one
Right, right,
that's
right.
like just looking at the dates, going, whoa.
Yeah.
It's like exactly a year. That's weird.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just weird. And that's how you do a drop switch. Basically, it's like, hey, Operation blah 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 is happening. Countdown clock's on. It's time to go. And that's your kickoff. Epstein knows he's got 1 year to settle his affairs. In other words, he's going to have to look like he's dead now. He's going to have to pretend like he's no longer alive. And so he has enough time to do that. What happened was Wexner, 11 years ago, this is why people just don't get it. 11 years ago, Wexner, the guy behind Victoria's Secret, the guy behind American Eagle, Abercrombie and Fitch, all of these childhood brands, the guy behind Girls on the Run, any kind of Ohio-based charity. If you look at Southern Ohio, you'll find that there's like a pit of massive evil that's in there. A lot of people disappear there. A lot of really bad shit happens there. That's Wexner territory. 11 years ago, I can't prove this part, guys, but here's what happened. 11 years ago, Wexner sold ownership over. He opened his blackmail safe and he sold. He's like, I want to put some money in for this op, the next 9/11. I'm going to have to spend some money on hamburger meat. I mean, if we're going to catch, we need hamburger meat, which means I'm going to have to go into my freezer and get some hamburger meat. He opened his freezer and he pulled out some meat that he was willing to give away. He's a billionaire. Billionaires collect people. Millionaires collect money. What he did is he said, I will give you Wiener, I will give you Epstein, and I will give you Clinton. And he sold those to someone else.
Sorry, when you say Clinton, do you mean Bill or Hillary?
Bill.
Right. Okay. Sorry. Go
Yeah,
on.
Bill. That's okay. And he pulled those out and said, I'm willing to sacrifice these people for this spell, which basically means I'm not going to be able to hold anything over Wiener anymore because he's going to be arrested. It's going to go down. Like, I'm going to burn this guy. I'm going to sacrifice this lamb that's in my fold so God can see it and we can work on the magic. And so Wiener was instantly just burned. Hey, it's time to burn. And he wasn't worth shit anyway. I mean, he was a broken man that was an addict, sex
Not
addict.
a pervert, yeah.
But that's why he was put in that position. You're only going to put someone in a position that you can own a title over, that you can own.
It was compromised to begin with. That's right.
This is how you control people. This is how you own people. Cars have titles. Humans have titles too. It's blackmail.
Yeah.
It's a legal tender title. Now, the second you release that, your property is now burnt because now everyone knows the secret. You can't hold anything over anymore. That's why I'm saying he had to burn Wiener for that. He didn't actually have to burn Clinton. He didn't actually have to burn Epstein. Those two were used by whoever he sold it to carry out the op. Wexner, to save himself 11 years ago, said, because it's going to happen, I'm going to burn these guys for this effort, and then I'm going to step out of it. I'm going to sell all my shares in this. I'm going to share all my shares in this. I'm going to secretly put all my money into local Ohio charities with another unknown person. They both sank like $1 billion. Yeah, they sank $1 billion combined into local Ohio charities. And what that is you're basically just taking over that mafia operation.
Yeah.
You guys are probably like, wait a minute, charity mafia? Yes.
Yeah.
You hide behind what no one would suspect.
Yeah.
Guys,
The veneer of virtue. Yeah, for sure.
Not do that, guys. Think about it. Why would you not? Why are you pretending that people have a secret hideout where there's like spiders and roaches crawling around? It doesn't fucking work that way.
Best places to hide is play sight, isn't it? Why would you want to hide in the shadows? Sunshine is the best. Yeah.
It's called blatant camouflage.
That's right. Yeah.
It's so painful for people to even accept that. That's part of why they don't see it, because it's just like, well, no, I gave them money. No.
Joke's on you.
I gave them money, so there's no way that's true. I'm going to go over here to heroin. I'm going to go back over here to heroin because I don't like what you're saying, James. I don't like it. At all. These people were traded in. When you see the painting of Bill Clinton in Monica Lewinsky's dress.
Oh, yeah, the blue dress, yeah.
That is the blackmail file. That's your coat check. Okay. What I mean by that is it's not the real code, but it's a number that proves the code check.
Right.
There's an actual photo or video of Clinton in that Monica Lewinsky dress. If that was to come out, he would be completely exposed as a fraud, and him and his wife would never have a future at all. That's the blackmail they had on him. The reason why it's a painting is because it's a code check. You can have that painting in public, and it's not going to look like
Just
anything.
art, guys. It's a painting.
But if you know, then when Epstein sees that, if Epstein ever wanted to sell that painting, because you could trade people on the open market, what he's really doing by selling that painting is he's selling the file. He's selling the picture that goes with it. The painting is just something that billionaires can put out in the open. They get a hard on when he walks by it because he's like, oh, I own that human. Wow, that really makes me feel powerful. And when other people see it and they react to it, oh, it's such a disgusting painting, he laughs at it because he's realizing these people are stupid.
They're mocking us all the time. And other people help them.
Yes.
It's the worst.
People that are pretending to be helping Q, and I don't mean pretending because they think they are actually helping them mock us all. But it's all part of it.
It's not even the people who are helping Q. It's the people who like, oh, you're crazy. That's not possible. Like, oh, it's not a conspiracy. It's just incompetence. Oh, these things just happen. What do you think? They're so smart. They have a long game? Buddy, this is what like their whole life mission is. They're not like you and me. Like you mentioned, the psychopathy. They're not like us.
No, man is not the top of the food chain.
Exactly. I love that part of the video. Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, go on. I got too excited. Go on. So back to Steve and trading people. And so he burned, he didn't have to burn Epstein. Someone else did. Yep.
So let's just forget all those because they're not even matter.
Okay.
Let's talk about Trump for a second.
Okay. Yes. And you're banned. Yeah.
There is a Serta mattress commercial. You guys can look it up.
Okay.
You can go into YouTube and say Serta commercial 9/11 Trump or whatever. Serta mattress Trump, whatever.
I'm gonna write that down.
You guys see a real life commercial that was filmed on all the networks. And it's Trump in a hotel.
Okay.
And he's saying, though, in Trump Towers, we use Serta mattresses. And it's supposed to look like an innocent commercial of him with sheep. There is a video, that clip shows one sheep on one pillar, on one tower, another sheep on another tower. And Trump is giving them a thumbs up. And those sheep have numbers on them, like counting sheep. That's what Serta does. They
of course.
The numbers on the sheep are
Please
9,
no.
11.
No.
And if you look at that commercial, you're going to see that Trump's giving a thumbs up.
So he's giving the green light. Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean? That's the code check. Do you see what I mean? That's the code check. It's the code check that he has. It's not the real evidence. And I guarantee you, if you were to watch the rest of that video, Trump's actually really like saying, yeah, 9/11 was this. It was, he's probably confessing to knowing what it is. And if he confesses to knowing what it is, what is that but taking ownership of him? You now own Donald Trump, because if the people found out that he knew the whole time and wasn't saying anything, he's lost it all. That's a certificate of title. That's the exact same way as the Epstein painting, but with Trump. I need people to understand they've been working on this for thousands of years. If they did 9/11, JFK, and everything else, why the fuck do you guys think that they would say, no, let's not mess with the Electoral College. Come on. We had to draw the line.
We've got principles, guys. Yeah.
We've got principles, right. We got something fair. And that's why you never, ever hear any party claim that the Electoral College is fraud. Why would they not do that? They claim the voting results are fraud, but the popular vote, they complain that the popular vote should count, but no one ever says. Not only that, none of us know who the Electoral College even is. None of us know.
Really?
No one even knows find out what's the name of your guy. Do you know the name of your local Electoral College representative? I don't. None of us do.
Didn't even think of that.
What makes their decision? We're under the impression, because 65 million of us go through the process, because we spend all of our tax money to go through the process of putting on this fake voting bullshit, none of us realize that what is it, 400, sorry, I can't remember the exact number, 400, 500 electoral college voters are the ones that elect the president. Are you guys really thinking that the evil cabal would be like, no, we're not going to mess with them? No, I'm not going to. Of course they're going to mess with that. Of course they are.
It's funny
You're the
because,
caterpillar.
yeah.
You are laying, your eggs are inside, their eggs are inside your body right now. Of course they're going to mess with that. Oh, it's so infuriating to hear people that still believe that no, this is all legit, man. It's all legit. It's so sad.
I actually hear the opposite. People are complaining how the Electoral College is not fair. And I have to say, like, I'm not trying to sound like I'm better than anyone. I did for quite a long period of time think, well, it does make sense because the argument they give you, well, if California and New York want to elect someone, the rest of America can go sit on the high hard one, And it's like, well, yeah, that's true because if they densely populate one place, that makes sense. So it would make sense that each state sort of has their own way of doing it. Like, logically you think, oh, that's reasonable. But now I'm beginning to wonder, you're right. It's sort of like a boys club and they sort it out amongst themselves and it really doesn't matter who you want. Of course.
If you were growing up in LA, on the streets of LA,
right,
and you're 12 or 13 and you're trying to be a good guy, you're trying to live your life and not have anything bad happen to you.
Yep.
Gangs are driving by every day and they've got cars, they got guns, they got cash.
Who gives those gangs those guns? Do you see all the times with like, oh, we just find crates of guns. All of a sudden it's like, what?
As you're trying to just survive, just get to school.
Yeah.
You're going to understand how the world works really quick, like really quick.
Yep.
And you're going to join one of those gangs if you want to survive. You're not going to survive if you don't. You're not. You're not in that environment. That environment is Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
And I can prove it because name one politician, with the exception of Cynthia McKinney, it's the only one I can think of, who ever went to Congress and said 9/11 was an inside job on day one.
Really?
And then was fired. When I say fired, what I mean by was just completely outcast, never put on a committee, lost her election the next time, just spit out. She's the only one. Cynthia McKinney. Anyway,
I didn't even hear of her. Wow, well, I'm not surprised why.
Her, right? Of course you're not. But instead,
we don't want martyrs.
Instead, they're telling everyone Tulsi Gabbard's here to fix the truth.
Oh my God! Please.
Donald Trump's here to fix the truth, or whatever. It's the person. If you recognize their name, if the average person knows their name, it's fraud.
Yeah.
If the average person knows someone's name, it's fraud. They're not who they say they are. Julian Assange is the perfect example. That's the perfect example. And this is where most people like, I'm done with you, James. No, because they believe so wholeheartedly in Julian Assange that he's going to save it all. This is where most people block me, is when I tell them this. And guys, there's a direct quote from Julian Assange where he says, if anyone thinks 9/11 was an inside, I'm sorry, I'm paraphrasing here. If anyone thinks 9/11 was an inside job, I think it's ridiculous. You're wasting time on a stupid conspiracy theory, and frankly, I don't have time for it. What does every media outlet say? Julian Assange's been tortured. These are mainstream media. He's been tortured.
Was it Ecuador for 7 years on house arrest? Like, what?
He's been treated unfairly.
Yeah.
And Q tells you that somehow, in the middle of the most evil city in the world, London, that this guy is able to survive with nothing more than a pass from a diplomat. That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard, guys. It would be so easy. If Julian Assange was a threat, he would be dead. It's dumb to think otherwise. There could be a fire at the embassy. There could be a chemical. There could be a fucking
accident.
A van could drive by with a 5G thing inside the van, and they could boil his oxygen.
Absolutely.
They could seriously just stop the hemoglobin from getting into his oxygen, and it would be reported as asphyxiation. Wake the fuck up.
And you won't believe who's like his best friend. I saw this because I watch I don't watch the news, but every now and again I'll watch things from different countries because sometimes they give you a bit more information. And I saw an RT, right? Guess who's his champion? Pamela Anderson is his vegan best friend, going to the Kremlin and giving talks and things. It's like, that's who you're giving talks? Yeah. Like, really? It's just a joke.
Why did they pick her? Because they wanted the flavor. They wanted the zeitgeist to go, oh, no, Julian Assange is the truth Messiah. He's the next Jesus. He's the next Jesus. And he's going to come in and he's going to tell you what he's already been whispering. Saudi Arabia was behind 9/11. Saudi Arabia did it. It wasn't us. It was Saudi Arabia.
Them and those damn box cutters.
And every QAnon person is already on board. They already believe, yeah, we got to go after Saudi next. Yeah.
How come every time we go after people and start wars, it's always that like special list of countries that a certain other group wants exterminated? Like, no one thinks about these things. Like, the official story is so stupid. Like, I hear actual engineers saying, of course a plane did that. What? It's like, how did you graduate?
Yeah, well, because school is not what we think it is.
No kidding. Yeah, people are starting to figure that one out.
You were indoctrinated. Who's the most indoctrinated? Doctors.
Yeah, the most educated, exactly.
Mm-hmm. It's in the word. You've been indoctrinated. Mm-hmm. And when you become a doctor, you become a priest in this society. You become a high priest. Sure. Whatever the doctor tells you, you're going to believe. Why? Because we place them on a pedestal. When you place any human on a pedestal, you're abusing them. No one understands that. You're abusing them. If you place someone on a pedestal, you're abusing them. You're putting them in a position where they are in charge of your own judgment. And when you do that to somebody, if they have a hollow core, if they've suffered any trauma, if they've ever had any kind of trouble at all where they've been mistreated unfairly by society, narcissism is going to erupt inside of that pedestal. It's going to blossom. That's why you see all the thought leaders that are pretending to push QAnon are all the same type of problem. And I don't like calling people narcissists, guys. That what they're suffering from is wetiko, and the side effect of that is narcissism. It's sociopathy, narcissism, psychopathy. Those are all an evacuation of the solar plexus. There's a whole chest, and you have to fill it with virtue from others. You need the prana from other people to fill your chest up, and therefore you will do anything it takes to lie about it. That's why when I reported the satanic temple was fake, she was saying, oh my God, there's a satanic temple in there. And people just, their mouths started watering. They were like, fuck, we're going to get blood now. He's got a satanic temple. The utility building, painted to look like it had fake arches. The door, that people, reporters are saying, there's a dungeon door on the temple. And it's fucking paint. Paint, and there's no speculation. I've shown people video, drone video, pictures of it, where you can physically see this is a painted wall. You can follow the seams in the concrete. And people are still saying, James, you're a Mossad op. You're trying to tell everybody that there's no such thing as Satanism. And it's just like, you don't fucking get it. This is them putting a fan in front of the cheeseburger that's on the oscillation so it can get the fumes out. And that shows you that it's a lie. It shows you it's a psyop. But instead, people like Amazing Polly will just start saying, this is the enemy. James True is the enemy. Look at what he's doing, guys. He's ruining our chance to help. Look at how he's destroying all these things. And then I'm the one who's ostracized as the person. And it's not about me, guys. My point is that no one like me is ever going to have more than 9,000 followers. It's not going to fucking happen. Why? Because I don't give you heroin. I'm giving you fucking broccoli. And you're just like, what are you getting?
No, it's true. Even from my own things, I see a lot of like subscribe, unsubscribe, unsubscribe, subscribe, unsubscribe. Like people just keep dropping off, and it's just like, well, whatever. It is what it is. Maybe you genuinely don't like it, maybe whatever. But I think that if you've tracked my activity, it's pretty obvious this person should not be saying too much.
I don't even care if this sounds arrogant. If my last book has 33 5-star reviews,
Illuminati confirmed.
And what I'm trying to say is that
it has really good reviews. That your book actually it does.
If I'm a good writer, it's not because my writing's bad. It's because people don't like the content. Mm-hmm. Okay? People don't like my content because it's broccoli. Mm. That's why.
In all fairness, though, Amazon, you have like all 5 stars and 1 4-star. So well done, well done.
Yeah, and well, actually, I think it's a 1-star, and it's a guy telling everyone, this side, he's trying to kill you all, man. You got to fucking run away from this guy.
And that doesn't sound crazy. Like that rebuttal isn't crazy. You're calling someone else crazy, but what you've just said is lunatic. Yeah,
that makes me feel good. People were able to go in there and see that. And I'm sorry if people are hearing me trying to brag about my reviews. My point is just trying to say This is not because I'm not a talented writer. It's not because I'm not effective at delivering a message. I've got analogies that fucking drop you like a rock, man. It will fucking sink you in the ground and make you go, holy shit. It's not about that. It's not about my lack. It's not because I'm balding. It's not because I'm not pretty enough. It has nothing to fucking do with that. It's because I'm giving you broccoli and you don't want it. You don't want it because you're afraid to eat it. Why? Because they gelded you from the moment you were born. Yeah. The moment you're born, they told you ego is bad. The moment you're born, they told you pride is bad. And when you get in that state, you're running around the world with no gasoline. You're running on an empty tank, and that makes you desperate. Just like if you're at a red light and you've got the orange and the light's flashing, you're about to run out of gas. And you know the gas station's up there, but there's a trance state. You're limbically in shock. You all have felt that. You're just like, am I going to run out of gas? Well, what am I going to do? Okay, make sure I pull over here. I don't have a gas can. Damn, I really need to carry a gas can. And you're not paying attention to anyone else. All you're concerned about is your ego. That's what Amazing Polly is. That's what Martin Geddes is. That's what Praying Medic is. That's what all the people that aren't even getting paid by naval warfare intelligence are. They're broken people that are getting virtue for distributing heroin to everyone else. And it's the only time they've ever had praise in their entire life. And they're eating it up because we're starving each other from it. Why? Because we're rewarding people for virtue signaling. We're rewarding people for making themselves feel bad. That equality flag is a seating chart. It's a fucking seating chart. Whichever color is at the top gets the most virtue. Whichever color is at the bottom gets none, or the least. There's no white stripe inside of that flag, guys. That's on purpose. Why? Because the white man in America is the most dangerous animal ever formed. That's what they fear most. And it's only because we're just happen to be mostly white. Whatever nation would be there, they would take whatever's the most people. What color are they? Let's leave them off the flag. Let's put everyone else on there. And now let's say these are the new chosen people. Everyone else is not chosen. These are the chosen.
It's funny you say that because with this whole virus nonsense, they actually are bringing in terms like legal discrimination. And what you're saying is a version of that. It's like, let's just call this thing not good. And it's going to be okay to demonize them and out discriminate against them and subject them to things that apparently wasn't okay if you did it to this group of people, but those guys over there, that's totally fine. Why are we repeating the same thing over and over again?
And why, when you assign a special class, the moment you assign a special class and there's never been a special class before,
you condemn those people. It's not a good thing.
But that class is going to eat it up.
Yeah.
They're going to take their and run with it.
Of course.
And what's happening right now? Who's a special class? Nurses. Right now, it's just started yesterday.
Oh, really?
Who's a special class? Critical workers. Now going to have
their
papers.
God complex is even higher now.
Yeah, and it's not because they're bad people, guys.
No.
Every one of them is broken. And when you're given special privileges, most of us are going to do the wrong thing with it.
We never handle power well.
Because power corrupts.
Absolutely.
Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely.
Amen.
That's why it's going to happen. So, and people are like, oh, it's because you hate nurses. It's like, fuck off. No, I don't hate nurses. I hate psychopathy. I hate Watiko. But what we've done is we've created a special class of citizens now. The people that are allowed to travel are going to eat that shit up. Because like, oh, I got papers, man. I'm allowed to fucking travel here. And they're not going to give a shit about you.
Do you have your papers, the Germans?
That you're the problem. They're going to claim that you're the problem and that you're the virus because you're endangering the public safety of everyone else.
Oh, yeah.
And the more they say that, everyone's going to give them virtue. They go, oh, you're so responsible, Mr. Nurse. God. You're so responsible to be looking out for us. They cut off the economy, which means they've cut off the food supply, which means we are living in a living Hunger Game.
Yes.
That's why every celebrity has
I've been calling it that, the Hunger Games.
They've left the country and they've putting posts. That's why Tom Hanks has a Corona fucking typewriter from Australia. He's mocking you. He's looking at all you guys and he's saying, these people are stupid. He's
they eat it up.
Do you know what enjoy the show means, guys? It's enjoy the hunger show. Enjoy the show is watching what's going to happen to you that's already started right now, but most of you don't realize it because you're laying in fucking bed doing heroin.
And may the odds be ever in your favor, as they say in the movie.
Meanwhile, what does Tesla do? He releases an armored truck. He's telling you what's happening. He's telling you, you guys are going to want my truck, which means it's going to be survival of the richest. Whichever one of us can psychopathically take the most amount of money from the other people enough to buy that truck is going to be the people that survive. And that's what you're watching happening in living color right now,
It's
which is why no
horrible.
one's listening to me, because it's bad news.
It's horrible. But the people who are not even at that like tier of richness or whatever, I do see that virtue signaling is really strong. It's like, who has sacrificed the most? Who isolated themselves the hardest? Who's in the worst quarantine ever? And it's like, oh, how dare you go and buy some food? You've just potentially exposed other people. It's like you're shaming people for not freaking out. It's like so many other illnesses are way more deadly. And apparently, you just saying that fact, like if you look at the numbers, you assume that the media lies, but the numbers they're telling you are really quite. I'm sorry, any tragedy, it's any death is a tragedy, but the numbers are so low. It's like, really? Like, and thank God that they're so low, but you pointing out that fact, it's like, oh, so you're not taking this seriously? So you want everyone to
That's,
die? It's like,
yeah,
fuck
that's
you.
blind.
Why
That's
do you
called
want to be afraid? Why do you want to be paralyzed by this? Why do you want total control? It's for the greater good. I'm going to snitch out my neighbors. I posted an article recently, like the police broke up a frickin' barbecue because there's 20 people there and that's not allowed. It's like, God forbid you move on with your life. God forbid you go back to work.
Well, that's why the most dangerous thing that exists right now is the zeitgeist. That's
Yeah.
why I'm saying I need to get off the internet, because I need it. If I encourage people to go to the internet, they're going to hear stories like that, and they're going to think that's real. They're going to think all the stories they hear is real. They're going
Yeah.
to never going to know. Like when QAnon makes a post, he'll quote another anon. People don't get the impression those are two different people.
Probably him.
Like they're completely
Self-referential.
fooled. Like, oh well, no, it's different. What do you mean? Here's one called anon. Here's one called Q. They're totally different, and they have trip codes. And I'm like, stupid. Do you know how SSL works? You can't take a frickin' trip code and encrypt it on one server, then move it to another server. If you could, I would have every credit card ever made in the entire world, because I would look at the trip code, the encryption code, and put it on my machine and then decode your credit card. But when I tell people that, James is Mossad. He's trying to tell you guys Q's a fraud, man. We got to fucking get him. We got to fucking get him. And one of those reviews came from Polly when she told everybody, James is trying to hurt us and he's scaring me. I'm afraid he might come to my house. Polly lives in fucking Canada.
Yeah, in Ontario, yeah.
And the second she said that, I had 6 bad reviews on my book within 2 minutes. People had never read it. It was all 1-star reviews. Luckily, Amazon removed all those. But my point is that there are flying monkeys around, and there are witches that are profiting from that. There are people that are at the top of their tower, and they're able to send their minions out to do whatever.
Yeah.
And God, they're coming for me.
Yeah.
They're coming for a lot of us.
I actually had a
And
similar.
people
No, I had
are
a
saying,
yeah.
You're being paranoid, James. I don't give a shit if you think that. I know how this works. Why? Because I read my fucking history.
Yeah,
Because I
no.
watch what's happening on the ground. Because I'm not a fucking idiot. Because I lost my father in the war. I've actually felt death. I know what it's like to watch these people work. Meanwhile, everyone else is watching this shit on TV going, well, no, he didn't actually die because that's actor. I saw him 3 weeks later. So, war isn't that bad. In fact, it's really dramatic and beautiful because usually he gets laid. There's usually a girl there. There's some music playing. War's not, what are you talking about? And it's always the good guys and the bad guys. Everyone's always clearly defined.
So not like that. Every time I see a war movie, I actually start crying because I'm like, our men, they're killing our fucking men. Like, I don't think of it like, oh yeah, it's great. No, I had a similar experience with her. I really didn't you brought her up enough times that I just thought she did the same thing to me. She posted something about like, oh, smoking can help you prevent getting corona. And I'm like, oh, so we're just going to start smoking now? Is that what you're saying? Like, is this a joke? Like, I was clearly just being a sarcastic kind of comment. And she freaked out on me. She just started doing screenshots and reposting it, but then deleting the comments and her responses, but only posting those selective. She's the screenshot queen if you watch any of her videos. And I honestly said, I'm like, why are you doing this to me? Like, I actually liked you. I followed you. Like, I can't believe you're attacking me. And a couple of other girls came to my defense, not because they knew me or liked me. They're just like, I read it as a sarcastic comment. It's like, oh, prevent respiratory illness by smoking. It's like, Obviously, that's a silly thing to say, right? I wasn't having a go at her, and she snapped at me. You're one of those concern trolls, and fuck you, and I'm always gonna be who I am, and I'm never gonna change. And I'm like, whoa, the ego was strong. And a lot of people like said, I'm unfollowing you. You're crazy. And I just didn't know that, but she like let it out, and I just thought, wow, if you don't praise her, if you don't say you really are amazing, Polly. And I feel bad for her because she could be a useful person if she has these skills and all this. Like, why is she against us?
And because she has the skills to get on top, just like anyone else suffering from Wetiko. And guys, this isn't about Polly.
No, it's not. It's absolutely not. It's that personality
Person
type. Yeah.
This is an evacuation of the chest, and it causes the narcissism, the sociopathy, and the psychopathy. It's the cause of it.
I think Jung compares that idea to the shadow or something, where it's this expelling your conscience and being filled with it's like a selfishness or something, isn't it? Can you explain that to people? Because I think it's a really interesting concept. It's like an Aboriginal native concept or something, isn't it?
What, Tico?
Yeah.
Yes, every Native American tribe that we know of,
Ojibwe or something, isn't it?
Called it the same thing.
Right.
They said this is Wetiko, and it's basically cannibalism.
Okay.
It's cannibalism of your soul.
Right.
You develop a hole inside, and you just keep eating at it, and because you believe that that hole inside of you is the thought that you're evil, and that's why in the East there's female genital mutilation, and in the West there's male genital mutilation. This is how you install Wetiko. You are brought up understanding that you are inherently evil. That creates a black hole, a vortex. So it's sucking prana in all the time. No matter how much love you get, it's falling into that hole. It's being emaciated inside there. That creates a hunger, but more importantly, it creates a skill. These people have to learn how to steal gasoline at any intersection that they find, because their physical gas tank has a hole in the bottom of it. And no matter how much gas they put in it, it's going to leak out over time. So every opportunity they have, if they see a car, they're tapping into the gas tank. They'll do anything they can because they're trying to survive. It's a virus, a cannibal virus. And Wetiko but the Wetiko isn't an accident. This was installed in people for a very specific reason. It was installed to do this. It was installed to make people predictable. Instead of you having a few people in Mossad that you bred to be killers, why not turn the entire world into something that's a zombie, that's something that's a living, walking cannibal? And that's what we're surrounded with now. And that's why I'm telling you guys, they are going to come for me, because someone's going to get virtue for saying, well, look at all these horrible things. James said that we should go back to work. James said that we should print out our permission slips so everyone can have one so they can travel around. James is a danger. James is a threat. They're going to say that, and everyone around them is going to go, oh, I'm so proud of you for standing up to this evil. You're right. We should go get him, because I have a right to know if my neighbor is infected, and that's going to be our downfall. People are going to say, I have a right to know if my neighbor is infected, and that's what's going. And it's installed. That's why all the CEOs, what did they do before the economy crashed?
Bailed.
They stepped down after getting giant, huge bonuses.
I'm so glad you mentioned that. Can you speak a little more about that?
Oh, okay. They were given bonuses as agreement to comply. Right. Because all it would take is a UPS, or not even UPS. All it would take is a giant store saying, I'm not complying. No, people need money to survive. My employees need money for this.
So that's why it runs off work, because they've all sort of agreed.
Yeah. Yes,
it's a done deal.
The CEO, we will do this in exchange for the information up front that COVID's coming, and the opportunity to get a huge payout if I play right and do it right.
Okay.
If you want to control every worker, you only need to control 5 CEOs.
Yeah.
There's only 5 fucking companies. Every single thing you put in your fucking mouth is coming from one of 5 companies. And all it takes is 1 of 5. The arm of the government is not the government. That's just the
corporations,
mandible. There's you've got the Hollywood. That's an arm. You've got corporations. That's an arm. You've got CDC. That's an arm. You've got all these things that are claiming to be. You've got the church.
The NGOs apparently have all this power. No one fucking elected you. Who are you to tell me what is best? But let's go back to that CEO thing for a minute. So you touched on 2 topics there, like so they knew that it was coming. So there's really two things I want to ask. One, I guess, I suppose, because Bill Gates is really like going deep into all of this virus stuff. But in general, are you saying that they knew that it was going to come, as in they knew some sort of cock up has happened and this virus is out there, or were they planning, because they were doing these kind of simulation tests or whatever, like stress testing or whatever, to see how things would react and what are the potential outcomes. So just marry those two things for me, like if you can, please.
I have to speculate a little bit at the top because we don't see data up there.
Exactly.
Like I don't know what they see. Everything I told you about Steve Bannon is not speculation.
Right.
All I did was lay out the facts. I just want people to know that I'm leaving fact mode and I'm entering speculation mode right now.
Thank you.
Which is cool. I just want people to know that. That's all. Bill Gates is a billionaire. Why is he trying to kill millions of people?
But he's
seriously.
always been a depopulation guy.
Why?
Right.
But why? Okay.
Quite. I don't know why. Genocidal isn't really a good enough reason.
Exactly. It's you lose the field. You lose your enemy if you're just going to say it's because they're evil. No. Evil means to miss your mark. That's all it means. You have a sin. It means you shoot your arrow and it missed.
Right.
Okay? Evil just means decrepit.
Right.
Evil means not capable of taking care of yourself. It's not because they're evil. They're the opposite of evil. It's not that way at all. So you have to look at it. And I'm purposely saying why, because I'm hoping people can take a moment to breathe in their brain to go, wow, why would someone that has all the money in the world not want people to love him? Like, why is he pushing this thing of doing things that making people mad? Why? If he's doing that, it's got to be he's getting some kind of payout for it. So what? Well, does a billionaire need money? No. Does a billionaire need to control more blackmail people by
got enough, I think.
No. If anything, that exposes him more to danger. So why is Bill taking all these risks?
Yeah.
Why is he so prone to pushing that? And it tells you something. Guys, it tells you something. You can put your ear up to a door. You're not going to be able to look inside, but you can put your ear up to a door. And what you're going to hear behind that is a promise for something that's worth more than gold, that's worth more than people. Is Bill Gates been promised? And now I'm going to go back for a sec. When you join that gang in LA, if you want to join that gang, right, you're going to have to kill somebody, aren't you? You're going to have to.
Got to blood in.
You got to blood in. You're going to have to find someone innocent and kill it. If you are in an upper echelon of the military, like full board Colonel Lawan, there's a brotherhood there, and that brotherhood requires an initiation. You're going to have to kill somebody. Things like Seth Rich, which I don't even know if that's legit, but things like Seth Rich. When I say legit, guys, it's the same thing as Pizzagate, meaning it's real but not real, okay? So don't be writing in the comments, that fucker doesn't believe in Seth. No, it's not what I said. Anyway, you have to sacrifice something to the group to show that you're willing. When you kill an innocent person, what you're really doing is you're telling the gang, you guys can now turn me in. Like, all it would do is, here's the gun or here's the evidence. You now own me, okay? I think that's what Bill Gates is doing. There is an upper echelon of people. Okay, Bill Gates was born with a birth certificate. He was born with a social security number. He wants his genetic line to raise above that. He wants to move from cattle, because if you have a social security number, what you really are is you're branded. You've been branded as a lesser. The outer church is what a lot of the really, really elite religious fanatics call it. There's the outer church. He wants to step into the echelon. For him to get there, he's going to have to earn it. He's going to have to show he's willing to do that. I believe that's why you're seeing things like Bill Gates and Elon Musk. Elon Musk really puts himself way out there. The myth of the orbiting roadster orbiting the planet Earth is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
We're going to grow wheat on the moon, on Mars, guys. He's such a buffoon. How did he get to where he is? He's done something, obviously.
He drove the Tesla Roadster onto the track, which proves there was air in the tires. Guys, what happens in space to a tire full of air that's pressurized? It's going to fucking explode. What happens to all the upholstery inside? What happens to every single electronic that used to work if it's now in space? It's you have to understand that is him putting himself out there, exposing himself with the largest lie he can possibly have to show I am willing to serve you.
And
This is
people believe it.
signing a contract,
Yeah.
guys. It's like you sign a contract with the devil. He's signing a contract with something that's behind the door, and all you can do is put your ear up to it and listen. You're not going to be able to look inside. It's just not. We're not allowed in there. We don't know. It's like being in a cattle ranch. You're never going to see the rancher's bedroom. That's the last place you would ever see. You're never going to know what's in there. You can look through the windows sometimes. That's what I do. I'm just a sheep out here looking through the windows going, oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. That's interesting. Meanwhile, all the other sheep are going, you fucking dumbass. You're trying to ruin this for me. You have to understand that there's levels upon levels upon levels, as above, so below. Just as our economy works down here, their economy works the same way up there. And that's why you can look at someone like Bill Gates and understand he's not even the top.
No, he's not. He's the bag man. That's the funniest thing.
Yeah, he's the bagman. And that's why you look at the Rockefellers, the richest family in America, total bagman.
They're all because you wouldn't know them if that's how big they were. You wouldn't know them. Soros, none of them. You wouldn't know them.
Right. You would not know them because to know them is to have that privilege. It actually lessens them. If you know their name, it's actually a form of disrespect because it's like, how dare a cattle man know my secrets, or that I grew up and had an accident when I was 12. And it's like, no, it lowers them for you to know who they are. That's why you're never going to see the people that are really running the show, but they're the ones that are the most famous.
Yeah.
So who are the people that are the most famous that everyone knows, but no one actually knows who they are? It's going to be saints.
Yeah. No, that's
going to be.
So what does he promise? Like a seat when all of this is crumbled and their new system is installed, then he's going to be one of the commanders or whatever? Like what is it that they're doing this for? Or are they literally just expendable and they think there's going to be something?
You have to look at the Old Testament, I think. And you have to look at why were they living 300 years old? Why were they living 900 years old?
Yes.
Now, if you're going to tell me, well, it's because they misinterpreted that, you're a stupid fuck. All of these are gematria people. That's all they are, is about numbers. This is not a mistranslation in the Bible, guys. Every single word in the Bible is encoded in gematria. It's all about numbers. So do not tell your neighbors. You're ruining it by telling your neighbor, well, they mistranslated the number. No, they didn't. And here's what I think's happening. I'm speculating here, okay? All I can do is put my ear to the door. But what I think I'm hearing is that Bill Gates is competing for the right to stay alive.
Right.
I believe there's some sort of genetic governor that's been inbred into all of us in some way. I don't know how it works, but there's some sort of genetic governor that's been in place. And I say that because it's the only thing I can think of that would make Bill Gates do that. I can't think of anything else that he would want so bad that would make him act this way, except for longevity. And I believe that he's being offered a chance for his genetic line to thrive, to survive somehow, to live longer. This is why Rockefeller, at the age of 101...
He is not 101. Holy shit.
He lived to be 101, and
right.
then he claimed to have died on the spring equinox. Like, he claimed to... I think that what that is, hey, you have to exit now, or people are going to know what's going on. That's why all the Rockefellers lived that long. They made that deal before Bill Gates. That's all. When the Civil War was happening, John Rockefeller was making those deals. The 66 coal miners that were murdered in fire and blood, at Ludlow, Colorado, in Rockefeller's ranch, that was his sacrifice to these people. That was him saying, I want in, man. I want in so bad, whatever it is I need to do.
The numbers, my God, the numbers.
Again, it's all speculation, but to me, that's the only thing I can think of that would be more valuable than everything else, would be longevity. And that's why these people are competing for that. They want that so bad, and they will always want it. And the scary fucking shit, the scariest part of all this, if you look at all the autoimmune diseases that have shown up, Alzheimer's, autism, ADHD, every single thing is an autoimmune response. AIDS, these are all autoimmune deficiencies. Here's what I think is happening. Just like Bill Gates is competing for his right to stay alive, they are turning all of us. They're breaking all of our immune systems so that we become dependent on their vaccine to stay alive. And that's what this is. It's a war on your immune system. And I don't know how it works yet, guys, but it's definitely associated with 5G in some way. But I'm not saying that's the whole kit and caboodle. But they're competing for the right to destroy your immune system. Because when your immune system's gone, and half of us are autistic, and half of us can't even put a fucking block inside a hole, they've got us all. This is why in 76 Rockefeller injected swine into everybody. This is why we have fake scares. They want you to think of yourself like pigs. They want you to, because that's how they see you. When they can make you feel that way, when they can make you dependent on them, all that prana goes right up into them, and they suck it up, just like Amazing Polly, but on a much, much more complex, evil level.
It's funny you mention. No, you mentioned swine. Swine and SARS are both a type of corona, which is quite funny that it's coming again, this corona crown. Interesting. And the AIDS.
Why I'm telling you they're coming for me. This is why I'm saying it. And it's not just me. This is not me saying that they know James True. I just mean people like me. That's all I mean. It's all algorithms. No one thinks I'm important, guys.
No, that's true.
It's just pure algorithms, guys. I do not think that I'm special. All I am is one white blood cell. That's all I am. So when I tell you that's coming from, it's not personal about James True. It's just simply, here's the AI. Look at all he said. He said this fucker's dangerous. We need to get rid of him. He's one of 10,000. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all it takes.
There's a couple of things you said that I wanted to touch on, but just before that, like, because there's like two types of thoughts. People who think that, this is totally real and this virus is super deadly and it's out there, or do you think it's sort of like, is it just one more of those outbreaks? Like you mentioned AIDS. Like AIDS isn't specifically a thing itself. It's a combination of, a syndrome, right? That like your immune is worn down by XYZ factors, and therefore, as you mentioned, the white blood cells, your T count goes down and you're done. But so you think that this is all just a systematic attack on our own personal health and longevity? So in a sense, it is real. There is people dying of this virus, but my question is like, do you think that they're maybe confused why the numbers aren't higher, or why everyone's like so mild or not noticing it? Or is that good that most people don't know they have it and then it's like under the radar?
Dying by the virus.
No.
I think they're being reported by dying virus the same way that they report people are dying from flu.
Yes.
It's not dying from flu. They're dying because they don't have an immune system.
Complications from that, yeah.
That's why they're dying. It's not flu. That's why they're dying.
Right.
Look in Italy. I'm trying to pull this up so I can just quote this. If you look at the Italy numbers.
Well, they're old and they have like 2 and 3 pre-existing conditions. It's not the flu, isn't it? Yeah. That's
right. It's so bad, how bad it is. And guys, this is why they started it in China and then in Italy, because we don't speak Chinese.
Yeah.
We don't.
And they have a big enough population that they're expendable.
All of the truthers over there are not going to be able to communicate with us, and that's why we're never going to know, exactly what's going on. Sorry, I couldn't find it, but I was trying to look for that. But if you look at the Italian numbers, it's awful. It's like they're all well, most of them were over 90 years old.
Quite, like they lived like a full life.
Yeah, it was
pretty
insane.
Good. That's remarkable.
And there's
but you're
nothing tragic, by the way, about dying. I know that we're taught that.
No, I know you're right.
There's actually nothing tragic about it at all. Thank God. It would be like, oh, it's tragic that I have to pee. No, dude, if you've lost the ability to pee, all you're gonna do is fill up your bladder and you explode. We need to be able to die. So it's not even bad that we're dying. The reason why it's bad is because we're being told it's for something else. It's because we've been told it's because we have to do this. This is why they released the article about the toilet paper. This is how bad they're laughing at us. They think about it. The joke is
so insulting.
They're shitting their pants. Literally. That's the joke. Yes. The joke is these people are shitting in their pants. Yes. Enjoy the show. Think about it, guys.
And people were asked, why are you buying so much toilet paper? They're like, I don't know. Everyone else is buying it. I feel like I should buy it. And it's like, oh, that's even worse. You don't actually have diarrhea. That's even worse.
It defines the word even more. That's
even
people
worse.
are stupid. It defines it even more.
But they're proudly stupid. The ignorance is like, wow. They're quite comfortable proclaiming these things like, what do you mean?
That's why Trump could never respect you. How could anyone respect someone that's that stupid? Guys, I'm just being straight with you. Seriously.
No,
How are you going to respect someone that's stupid? If you're married to a man and that man is constantly peeing on himself and he's constantly, anytime you bring home money or food, he's throwing it out and saying, this is awful and fuck this guy's bringing broccoli or everything else. You're not respect for that person after a while. You're just not. And if you're already evil, you're just going to feed on that even more, and you're going to use it to poke fun. You're going to use it as something you poke fun about people. That's actually part of why they introduce so many lies, because they fucking get a kick out of it when they watch how passionate we are about the lies. They're like, oh yeah, I started that lie. Look at him. Look, they're fighting over the environment. They're telling each other how dirty they are. How amazing is that?
People are seeing each other as parasites. You're not a person. You're a potential pathogen, and I need to keep a distance from you. That is terrible, because you said it's at the beginning, the most kind of revolutionary and best thing we can do is just like hug each other and just touch, don't worry about it. You probably have contracted, isn't it like, have you heard something like 2/3 of the population has like herpes? Well, that's obviously not stopped you, so all of a sudden oh, keep away from me. It's like, wow.
Shows you how powerful the zeitgeist is.
It's self-imposed, like we hear things like self-censorship. Oh, don't say those words, don't have those thoughts, and you end up doing it to yourself. Now it's self-isolation, self-quarantine, all these things. It's like you're making your own prison, and they're like, haha, got you to do it. It's just like it's really terrible. So you mentioned that there's like some truthers in China. People don't know this, but there's a lot of protests in China, and they're not really so happy with what's going on. But of course, you're never gonna hear that, and you're quite right. The language is a barrier, and then when they have these, they go, oh, let's take the model of other countries. Let's see how they're dealing with it, and it's easy to import that system over to us.
No, they're all in on it. China is not our enemy.
No, and neither is Russia. Let me tell you, these countries are all friends. Yeah.
And to prove it, where did Rockefeller go? The moment, so during the Civil War, Rockefeller was given a monopoly on oil. And the moment he got into that industry, there was a law passed that the government said, we will pay you whatever amount you want for your oil. And he raised the price by 3,000%. 3,000%. And people are like, Rockefeller's evil. You don't understand. It was the people selling the oil to him it was our people in government that are the true evil of that. I'm not saying Rockefeller isn't, but he's a hidden hand. He's a cockpit. All he is a UPS driver, and you're blaming the UPS driver for him bringing you the wrong thing. It has nothing to do with that. Whatever's in the box is in the box. He doesn't know. That's These people were invigorating his family. They were putting him on a pedestal by giving him all the money in the world because they knew he was controllable. Right after the Civil War, does Rockefeller kick back and take it easy? No. He goes to China. Back then, do you know how hard that was to travel to China and invest all that time over there? I mean, you're having to start over in a foreign land, new language, new currency, new customs, new government. You've just taken over America. Why the fuck are you leaving? And you're leaving because you have to. You're leaving because you've been told to. You're leaving because you have to go over there and do the next step. We're not going to know what that step is, guys. Again, ear to the door. I don't know. All I know is that you went over there. And it's stupid for us to pretend that that's not important. And that's why we saw all these protests. What happened when you saw the Hong Kong protests? You saw a bunch of Donald Trump signs. You saw a bunch of American flags. And you saw the most beautiful video you've ever seen, cinematic Hollywood video of protesters shooting arrows in the air, fighting against the evil Chinese regime. And all of that was Steve Bannon. Every bit of that was Steve Bannon using the exact same tools he's always used, using Hollywood to his advantage to paint a certain story to make you think that the people are rising and they want to change in China and they're asking Trump for help. Are you insane, guys?
Yeah, that was fishy.
That core group of people in Dallas, Texas,
Yeah.
coming and saying, we want Emperor Zoo or whatever the fuck his name is. That's who we want to come save us. It's so insane. But because you're on heroin, you're like, no, legit, man.
And
Look how
notice
beautiful
yeah.
it is.
Notice we don't hear anything about Hong Kong anymore, and how the NBA all of a sudden has an opinion. Like, who asked you? Why are you giving opinions about this? No, that's why don't we hear anything about that anymore? Was it just another little distraction? I mean, they always do that, you know. They like to throw on the theatrics, but you said you were in the Navy, right? Like, if you know for example, what a real explosion looks like, if you know what being shot actually entails, when you see these things, it's like, you know, not to say it or whatever, but a certain bombing at a certain marathon. Let's just say that. It's like some guy got shot in the leg and then all of a sudden he's just walking around. Like, that doesn't happen. A bomb goes off and your ears aren't ringing and you're not bleeding internally? Really? Like, as you said, it's Hollywood, right? So, you know, I just get the image like a joke where it's like two guys are witnessing this hoax or whatever, and they're just like, oh, I've seen this better in a movie. You know, this isn't quite so convincing. Like, oh, what is that? Corn syrup? What is that? It's not blood. Like, you could just tell, like, we've seen it so much on TV. You can't possibly buy it anymore. And yet people do. It's because they have no experience. Like you said, you've seen people die. You have seen what war does, and people don't. They just see movies, and it's in their head. They're pre-programmed to say, oh my God, it's like that movie. This Contagion thing, it's like that movie. It's like 12 Monkeys. It's like this. Oh my God, it's happening. That means these other things are going to follow. No. So you brought up also like 5G and things. Like, what is the connection there? Because I hear a lot of like tech people who, I don't know, I think should know more about what exactly it entails, say, nah, it's fine. It's just download instantly. Isn't that better? It's like, well, if it takes 5 minutes to download and it's not going to fry my organs, I think I'd rather have that, please. I don't need instant. It's like, so you can watch your pornos faster. Like, what is it for? So if you can shed some light on that, because there's a lot of deniers about this.
5G is the Internet of Things. It's
Right.
the Internet of machinery. It's not human internet. So it's actually doesn't going to make anything faster. It's all it's going to do is make things more complex.
Right.
Raytheon is one of the country's largest weapons manufacturer. Why would the country's largest weapons manufacturer decide to enter the 5G business? Why would they say, oh, we're going to compete with Verizon now because the Pentagon doesn't pay us enough money, because there's not business through the Pentagon. So now we're going to compete with we're actually enter the competition market where there's real life competition, and we want to try and fight with Verizon no, it's bullshit. Who made 2.4 gigahertz unlicensed? Raytheon. Why? Why is that an unlicensed frequency band? Well, because James, people didn't want to have to register their routers. Bullshit. Why is 2.4 gigahertz? Why that? The next unregulated frequency is 5G.
It's going to be 60 or something, isn't it?
It's going to be inside the 5G spectrum.
Yeah.
5G means fifth generation. It's 3 different frequency bands.
Yeah.
It's right now being told it's just the lower frequency. But the second you enter into a millimeter wave, I'm a computer programmer by business. I used to be. Now I'm an author. But as of before 3 years ago, I did augmented reality for large companies. I know about networking. It's what I do for a living. 5G is 3 different spectrums. High frequency, that's the stuff that really, really scares people, but it's not. It's actually not the most dangerous. The most dangerous part about 5G is 60 gigahertz. Right now, we're 0.4 gigahertz. But 60 gigahertz is a low power frequency. I want you to imagine a opera singer who's singing trying to break a glass. Now, pretend like she's trying by yelling. She's just trying to scream as loud as she can. The glass isn't going to break. It's not about pressure. She has to resonate.
I was just going to say that. You've got to be at the same.
It's not about her volume. In fact, it could be done with a very low volume.
That's right.
60 gigahertz. 59 gigahertz, no. 61 gigahertz, no.
Yeah.
But 60 gigahertz does something very, very specific to your body. Your oxygen molecules share an electron. That electron will start oscillating at a very, very, very fast rate if you give it a low power, 60 gigahertz frequency. It will start to spin so fast that your blood cells, the hemoglobin, cannot absorb oxygen. It just can't do it. And what are the symptoms? Hypoxia. What's the symptom of COVID-19? Hypoxia.
Yeah,
What's
just passing out, breathlessness. Yeah.
Dry cough. What's the same symptom?
Yeah.
COVID, 5G,
Sure. Yeah.
dry cough.
That's right.
No phlegm.
No fever. Yeah.
No phlegm, which means
No
your
phlegm.
body not
That's
trying
not
to
pneumonia. If pneumonia
That's
has
not
phlegm.
happening,
That's
okay?
right.
It's asphyxiation.
That's right.
It's asphyxiation, and that's what's causing things to happen.
Yep.
This is the most awful, evil part of all this.
Yep.
The word prison planet has been painted as a conspiracy, as something you're supposed to laugh at and dismiss.
Tell me it isn't.
5G is prison planet.
Yep.
It is prison planet, guys. And everyone's going to dismiss it because they heard Alex Jones say it. They heard Alex Jones say it, which means it's got to be
He's full of
crazy.
shit anyway, but yeah.
Yeah, it has to be fake. We have to not worry about this. 5G is prison planet, and Space Force. Please look at the words Space Force. Seriously, look at it. And I don't have it pulled up, but if you look at the bumper sticker,
Yeah.
it's a fucking suppository
Yeah.
coming up your ass. I'm sorry, but it is.
No, I know. The symbols are ridiculous.
5G is Space Force. Space low-level altitude. What we think space is not what we're told. Okay?
Thank you. Please.
None of us are allowed to go above 50,000 feet. No civilian is allowed to go above 50,000 feet. Why was the Concorde the only commercial flight that went 60,000 feet? Why was that grounded? It's because you'd see
Oh, they didn't make enough money. Yeah, sure.
it's up there at 80,000 feet. You'd understand what ISS is. You'd understand why they have to wear hairspray. You'd understand the truth of what's going on. You'd understand that
Picking up what
space
you're putting down. No.
is forcing you to enter this prison planet.
Yeah.
And who benefits?
Yeah.
Who's making more money? If no one can leave their house, what company is going to make the most money beyond any other company, hands down? If you can't leave your house and you want something, where are you going to buy it from? You're going to order it from Amazon. You're going to call Jeff Bezos. You're going to beg Beelzebub, the Lord of the Flies, to bring you shit. And that's why he's working on drone fleets.
I was just going to say, even a person won't come. Bloop, there's your stuff.
Space Force. That's what Space Force is. That's why you need to tap into the soil. All your magic and power is going to come from down below, where they tell you hell is, where they tell you to be afraid of Hades. That's where all your power is going to be. It's waiting for you. I need you guys to take off your damn shoes and socks. Right the fuck down.
Yeah, get grounded.
And go outside and stick them in the soil and just listen. Listen to what's happening and realize every single thing you've been told is an inversion.
Yeah.
Everything, which means you can use that as a cipher. Use that as a cipher. If someone tells you ego is bad, stop and go, is ego bad? And just think about it. I'm not saying to automatically believe the opposite, but the strongest things, the hardest things for you to question, like World War II, are the things that are the most vulnerable to you finding the truth out. That's why they put so much shame around it, because they're trying to cover it up.
Yeah.
You can use shame as a cipher. Who are you not allowed to criticize?
Who owns you? Yeah.
Are part of the issue,
Yeah.
but they're victims too.
Absolutely.
So even if you run in and tear them up, all you're doing is tearing up the cheeseburger, the actual living meat that's been placed on the steak. You're going to tear that up. You're never going to see these people.
Yeah.
It's not going to fucking happen.
Yeah.
It would be disrespectful for them, for you to even look at their face.
That's right.
Not how.
Yeah.
This is why all of our history's been erased. This is why UNESCO went around and destroyed all these
heritage sites, yeah.
monuments. Even though we have evidence that something's older, all of our academia is telling her, no, it's not. No, it's all primitive made. These people are hiding this from you. Why? Because in the soil is the memory of who you are and what's happening. And they want to cut that shit off. Because if you remember, you're going to end up like me. You're going to be this fucking badass that sees exactly what's happening. But you're going to tell people no one's going to listen to you, but you're still going to have that power. They don't want you doing that. They don't want you finding out. That's why I need you to go put your feet in the soil. Because our energy is not going to be a tower. Our energy is going to be roots.
Yeah.
Our energy is going to be giant, deep-ass roots that you can't see, which means if you don't have confidence that your roots are there, you're going to wither and die. You need to tap into your roots. That's why they're always pushing migration. If you have to migrate and move, you lose your connection to the soil. You have to reestablish. It's no different than pulling a plant out of the ground and moving it to another spot.
Absolutely.
It's going to take years and years and years for that plant to recuperate. It's not going to remember who it was. That's why the migration is the way it is, guys. That's why they desecrate everything. They're trying to erase who you are. They don't want you to know that you're literally descendant from giants. You are standing on the shoulders of giants, and they want that erased.
Yeah.
Because if you remember who you are, you're going to have the passion that I have right now.
Yeah.
And this passion is pure egoic power. And I said ego because ego is the source of your power. It is the source of your fucking magic. And if you have pride in yourself, you're going to see through their bullshit. You're going to go, I don't fucking believe you.
Yeah.
I do not fucking believe you. I believe myself. And you're going to be more entitled. You're going to be more equipped to deal with what's happening right now.
No, you're quite right. Because people are conflating the two ideas, like pride and arrogance. Arrogance isn't necessarily good, right? Because you're cocky, you think you know more than you do. But there's nothing wrong with being proud of who you are, what you are, your heritage, all of these things. Like, why should I hate myself? You know, like all these things, that's ridiculous. Because there's even research, like you talk about roots and things, but there's research that shows that people who live in the country that they're from, like ethnically, have like fewer illnesses and like are more, it's just adapting to your environment, isn't it? So all this move over here, move over there, go around the world. It's like, yeah, it can be done. People are very resilient and adaptive and all the rest of it. But actually, you know.
That's why they want all your food coming from far away.
Absolutely. That's the other thing, you know, you're eating from the place that you're from. Like when people talk about like, oh, let's try veganism, oh, let's try carnivore diets. It's like, yeah, but what is your particular genetic ancestry? Because that's what you should be eating, for example. Like it's not just let's re-engineer whatever we feel like doing. Like the things we're built in a certain way and we can't just forget that. So when you talked about like just a bit before this topic, you were saying about how like, oh, we're going to be dependent on their vaccines. But let's be honest, do they really even work? And oftentimes people are getting sick and dying from it. So what is actually the point? Is it merely because Bill Gates talked about having like a digital certificate? And is this 5G thing going to be like, well, is it nanotechnology that they're going to be putting in you so that they can track you just like you can order extra dishwashing detergent from your washing machine or whatever? Is it going to be that you're plugged in and that's why they want to do it? So who cares if it helps or doesn't help? They'll see all your vital signs and they'll just say, okay, let's let her think she's getting better. Beep, 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 push some buttons. All of a sudden she feels better. Oh, wow, this vaccine works. This is amazing. Like, you know, maybe I've just got a strong imagination, but like, is it presented as one thing, but really it's this other thing? Was it a Trojan horse with the vaccines or what's the deal?
I would imagine that, not imagine, if you look at all the different outbreaks, AIDS is an example, all HIV, all those are, I think, them testing in the field how to disable the immune system.
Right, yeah.
Now that this is happening now,
they have a lot of practice, James. They have a lot of practice.
That tells me, okay, so there's I see two possibilities. There could be more, guys. Definitely there could be more, but I sort of see two possibilities. Mm-hmm. One is they've solved it. They've got a vaccine that will disable the immune system, and they're ready to roll that out. Yeah. And as soon as you get it, I don't think it's going to affect you. I think it's going to affect your children.
Right.
Because to affect you is going to make it a lot harder to push. So it's going to probably affect your children. So as long as you take this vaccine, it has nothing to do with Corona at all, because Corona isn't actually real. But it's going to do something to your genes that's going to then be available to be accessed through your children. Again, it's a guess. That's my guess. There's another possibility, though.
But that's a valid reason, because those genetic things are always passed down. And as we know, things just get pruned and worse and worse and worse. Things don't actually get better the more generations. Yeah. So you're quite right. That's reasonable. Like I said,
there's probably a genetic governor inside of us that's stopping us from longevity. It's along the same lines that if that's there, then so the other possibility is this. Hear me out. 25 years ago, the Great Awakening started. As I said, QAnon was there to kind of snooze bar it. What if the Earth is releasing James Trues, these white blood cells, people that are waking up? Again, I'm not here. I'm just one person that tapped in. What if these people that are waking up, what if it's getting out of hand?
Mm-hmm.
It's making them nervous. What if because of that nervousness, they've had to push things ahead a little bit?
Yeah.
And it could be that they've pushed it ahead, because what I feel like maybe is happening is this feels kind of extreme. The way they've, like, it seems like they could have just waited.
Way too extreme. Yeah.
They could easily rolled out 5G. They could have easily said, we're going to put it in the schools first, and we're going to put it in the hospitals.
The worst places to put it.
It's what I mean is they could have done it much more subtly.
Yeah.
And just taken their time, because they know how to take their time. They're not in a hurry, guys. They don't have to be in a hurry, but now they are. Yeah. Now I feel like they are in a hurry. Yeah. And I think what's happening is that they're in a hurry because average guys like me are suddenly getting it. We're suddenly awakened to it, and we can see it. And if it's happening to me, I just know by extraction that there's going to be other spores like James True out there that are seeing this and figuring it out, and that's presenting a danger to them, which is causing them to escalate their plans faster. That could be another scenario, guys. It's either going to be one or the other.
Because it's not just that other people, like, there's a lot of people who don't quite understand. You've got a lot of facts, like, these things about Steve Bannon or this or that. Like, you're a bit more dangerous in that sense, not to boost your ego too much, but you actually know things. But the second tier of danger, I would say, is that people who don't know these things, but their bullshit detector is like, nah, not buying it. Sorry, like, I don't know what happened, but I don't believe that, and I'm not doing that. So thank you, but no thank you. And that's another problem, because those people could have gone the other way, like bought the story, but they didn't. And so when they hear someone as persuasive like you, and it's not just that you're manipulating them like they're used to being manipulated, that genuineness comes across, and you're like, okay, well, I don't know if he's right or wrong, but it doesn't feel like he's wrong, and those guys feel like scumbags, and I'm not listening to them. So I think that's maybe why they're getting a bit more scared, and why the censorship is getting stronger, and why they're doing this lockdown straight away. It's like, why didn't you lock down SARS? So many more people, like exponentially more people died. No, because Obama was doing the things they needed done. Now it's like, it's a different stage.
Why would you lock down California but still keep the very planes in the air that they're claiming were spreading the deadly virus everywhere? Why would you not just shut down the planes right away? Why would you not just like in 9/11? And don't say you can't do it. Are you honestly want me to believe that it's harder to shut down planes than it is?
They can do anything they want, so I'm not buying it.
Makes no. That's why, if anyone wants the proof that COVID's bullshit, go to a flight tracker, watch the planes go.
I have.
Why are the planes still flying? Why? If this is a virus that's so deadly that we have to socially distance and everyone lose their job and everyone run out of food, why the fuck can't we take the planes down?
Yeah, full communism, guys. We're gonna supplement your income. Like, excuse me, I don't want $1,000. I had a decent job. You've literally screwed me. Like. So, but it's more of like an economic problem, isn't it, though? Because what's happening? Is it just restructuring? Is that what we're doing? Like, and we're just using the virus as a thing because everyone cares about their health, but not everyone cares about the economy, so to speak. So is that what's the catalyst? Like, what exactly is the connection between the fact that these two things are happening concurrently and like really strongly?
The biggest hit was the $5 trillion. What I think happened is that if all the CEOs agree to sink the economy at the same time, the IMF can come in and just literally buy everyone's soul for $5 trillion. Donald Trump sold all of our birth certificates to the IMF for $5 trillion and a COVID coupon. He used a COVID coupon as a discount to buy all of those birth certificates. The IMF owns you. And when you take this stimulus money, what I think you're doing is you're signing that contract.
Yeah, you're saying, consenting.
You got it. And I'm going to tell the ether again. You can look it up, ether. Go ahead. Look it up, internet. You'll see. This is why I'm saying I'm dangerous. Remember 2 months ago when I made that public decree and I said I do not consent? I am not a corporate fiction. I am a natural-born citizen, born of this land. I have sovereignty. I do not consent, nor am I a citizen of this country. What I believe is a country makes no sense to me. I do not speak legal language. Therefore, I do not communicate, nor can I consent in any sort of legal language that you might have imposed on me. I am a born, natural born man of the soil. I am not a citizen. I belong here. I have sovereignty. I live under sovereign natural law. And I'm saying that because when they kill me, my prana doesn't get to go in their pocket.
Yes.
They get to take a hit because they killed someone that knew and said no and said he did not consent, which means they're going to have to pay for that at some point. I'm not. And I encourage all of you to do the same. I do not live in the state of North Carolina. There is no such thing as North Carolina. I am a man from Katua. Katua is the name of this land. It was the name of this land before North Carolina got here. I'm talking about my land. And people are going to ask, well, what's the name of my land? Do your fucking homework. I'm not your babysitter. Go out and read. Find someone who's old. Ask an Indian. Don't fucking ask me. I'm not here to wipe your nose, man. Fucking connect to the soil. I can't come over to you. I can't pull my roots up, walk over to your ass, wipe your fucking nose, pull the heroin needle out of your arm, and then tell you to do some research and then find out the name of your land and tell you.
Yeah.
If you're not willing to do that, you're not willing to save anything. I need you to find the name of the soil yourself. I need you to connect. And you don't have to have the exact name, but just use that as a power. That's how I tap my root in the soil, is I understand I am the man from Katua. I am not from Carolina. I am from Katua. And that's what we all need to do. That's what's going to make this change. That's what's going to fix this.
Yeah. And I mean, like, maybe people have moved around and born elsewhere and things like that. So I don't know if that applies like legally to everyone. But I think one thing, if people are, I suppose, religious, like, for example, as Christians, you were born once in the flesh, but you died already and are born again to Christ. And no man owns you. When you die, you go there. You're not this person's, your slave masters, right? Like you don't belong to him. Your soul belongs to your creator. And it doesn't matter what land you find yourself on, right? Like how the Hebrews were brought from to Egypt, to Babylon, all over. They were scattered around, but that doesn't matter because that's not who owns them. And just like the same as other people. I don't know if maybe that makes a spiritual transition, I suppose.
I'm going to say this. The same people that wrote the blueprint now.
Yeah.
You guys, if you're still here, you're probably not going to even mind me saying this.
Yeah, if you're still here.
The same people that wrote this blueprint wrote the Bible. They edited and compiled it. And I'm sorry, but they did. And if you're not willing to look at that and go, why is the Old Testament all about how evil I am and the New Testament is all about how good I am? And now I want you to ask, if you or anyone you know has ever been in a violent relationship with someone who gaslights you, what do? They tell you how evil you are, and then they tell you how much they love you.
This is like borderline personality. Idealization, devaluation.
That is a form of mind control. It's called gaslighting. And if you raise up in that, and if you were born and someone chopped your genitals and told you it was for sanitation,
I think that's terrible.
And if you projected this idea your entire life, you're going to end up thinking something that, personally, guys, I think is dangerous. You do not belong to anything else but the earth. You are the living soil. You're not like a tree. You're so much more important. You are the protector.
Well, we are living soil in that regard, yeah. Even the Bible says that, though, but I know what you're trying to say.
And you were born here.
Yeah.
And if you think your soul belongs to someone else, what you're really doing is you're telling your mother, I don't belong to you. I belong to this idea that I was told in this book. And where do those ideas come from? But up above, where Space Force is, where the lies of space are. And where they want you to fear Hades. What is Hades but the part beneath the soil? Hades is where your roots are. I realize that's probably scaring the shit out of some of you guys, but I'm telling you, you're living in a world of inversion, and I need you to fucking put your glasses on and start ciphering this and start saying the most popular book ever printed that's more spread than any other book in the world. Why would again, just like the Electoral College, are you really going to tell yourself that these evil people would not mess with the Bible? Are you really going to tell?
Oh, of course they would try to. But I mean, there's certain truth that resonates, isn't it? Isn't like.
Well, if you're going to trap an animal, are you going to use a plastic hamburger?
Yeah.
Or put truth in there?
I see what you're saying.
So of course there's truth in there. But if you're going to treat me like, I'm not saying you, but if people are going to treat me like,
see, I'm
Pizzagate
secure
fake,
enough that I can listen to these things, and I'm like, oh my
just
God,
like,
I can't believe
I'm
you
more
said it.
talking to the viewers. I'm more talking to the viewers. If you're
Absolutely.
going to treat me like I'm saying Pizzagate's fake, and now you're going to treat me like I'm saying the Bible's fake, I don't want to talk to you anyway, because you're not hearing me. You're not listening to what I'm saying. The Bible's not a relic. It fucking tells you in the Bible, hey, whatever you do, don't fucking grab something and pretend like it's like a holy relic and you have to listen to it. And then people are walking around going, hey, the Bible said, therefore it must be true. You're literally breaking the very tenet that's inside the Bible that tells you not to do that. The Bible's written by man. God's language is so much more complex. Why? Because words can be corrupted. Do you honestly think God, his word could ever be corrupted?
But
I don't think
but that's what I mean. Like, you got to tap into God, like really be connected with that, and not this whole like, I'm a Bible lawyer, I'm a churchy, and that's the problem. And people like, just earlier today, some funny guy was like, you're delusional. You don't even know what Zionism is. It's a great thing. And I'm like, I'm delusional. It's like, okay, thanks,
Zionism
buddy.
is
Good luck with that.
biggest danger we have. It's what's causing everyone to have the mind control is the Zionism, and that's why.
And it hurts the Jews. That's the problem. They're used as a shield, you know.
I focus purely on Zionism. Technology of belief is all about exposing how the technology.
If you would say a few words about it, yeah.
Just saying that if you really want to understand that, go there and look at it. But
Okay.
you're going to walk out of it with different understanding if you buy into it. You know, you may just say, "Fuck this guy." No, it doesn't matter to me. I don't even care, because I don't get virtue if I save you. Why? Because I don't think you're broken.
Yeah,
I don't think any of you are broken.
I agree.
I think what you are is you're afraid to tap in the soil, but you've been told that you've been promised it's spiritual usury to be promised something after you die in exchange for behavior today. That's usury. What does the Bible tell you about usury?
usury is not good. Exactly. And it's precisely not the works that save you. That's the thing. So it's like, if you're just a
And to
good
really
boy and
your
you're a
ass-
good little slave, everything will be fine. No.
And to really burn your ass, I'm going to tell you this. If God had one begotten son that wasn't allowed to come through man, which means that man's like a dirty vessel, so it has to be an immaculate conception. If God has one chosen son, what are you? Aren't you now a bastard child now? Aren't you now a lesser child of God because you're not the begotten son? What I'm trying to tell you is that there's a sinister thought that comes in line when you start to believe that a Passover human sacrifice on Thursday, the Passover sacrifice that's coming up, you are worshiping the sacrifice of a man, the drinking of the blood, the eating of the body. That is cannibalism. You are worshiping the very, very thing that you're pretending to be fighting right now. But because you're so screwed up, because you're so afraid of hell, you would never, ever have this question. That's why when you hear me, half of you guys are going to be like, that's the devil talking. The devil's talking.
You're the Antichrist.
I get why you're scared, guys. I get why everything I'm telling you sounds nuts. And guess what? I don't need to save you. I don't need you to buy into this. I just simply, for my own sake, I'm going to try and put out as much truth as I possibly can before they stop me. They're going to stop me either through the internet, either through censorship, either through the ADL, SBLCA, whatever. That's how they're going to do it. You're not going to see me anymore. This is probably one of my last interviews. Why? Because I'm no longer in the business of decoding. I'm no longer in the business of telling you guys, here's their satanic ritual. I am now encoding humanity. I'm developing an underground railroad so we can talk. Because the only way we're going to be able to hide from psychopaths and machines is by being human. Our humanity is going to be a secret language. It's an encryption. That's why memes are such an effective way to communicate.
They hate
because
the memes, yeah.
Not interpret a meme. It doesn't know exactly why or what it is about
And
it.
there's so much about it. It's not one joke that's good. It's deep. It's complex. Yeah.
All they can do is measure the virility and the tone of it. That's it. They don't know why or how it works. That's why we have to start communicating in this underground style.
Yeah.
The internet is going to be our biggest enemy soon.
Yeah.
I know it's crazy to hear, but it is. Yeah. Because once they take out all that stuff, you're only going to be blasted with 1984.
Yeah.
It's already happened.
Yeah.
You're only going to be blasted with that. That's why I keep saying, that's why I said earlier that I need to pull out of the internet, because I'm encouraging people to listen to the same voice that's going to cause all this stuff. And that's why I love that I've been writing books, because the book, the internet. And that's why I'm going to keep writing more. My best goal, because I'm not a guy that's like, I'm going to go grab a gun and kill as many people as I can. I get there's people out there. I'm just saying
You
that's
can't
not.
kill evil. It's immaterial. It's
I'm gonna,
in people. Yeah.
I'm going to write.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I've actually given up on us right now. And it's because when I post stuff, people are like, no, I'd rather just look at a joke about how the coronavirus is this. I don't want to read your fucking Apocalypse 5G article.
I do.
I've already given up on who's here now. What I'm working on now, like starting this morning, is I'm going to be writing seeds for who's coming in the future. I have to bury as many seeds as I can right now because someone might be able to find one of those seeds. And when they open my book, they're going to go, holy shit. Look at this. That's the only thing I can do right now because this video is not going to be here. No. All of my content on my website's not going to be here. Nothing I've ever said is going to be here, and it's going to be replaced with me claiming that I love to diddle kids and that I love to that's what it's going to be replaced with. It's going to be replaced with propaganda that's going to paint me as something evil. That's why I have to just do whatever I can. This is not a battle that we're going to win right now because there's too many fucking Zionist heroin addicts that are laying down on their fucking ass because they don't want to face what's really happening. That's the true. I'm sorry I'm so passionate. And
passion is good. That's human.
Guys, this is what's happening. And if you look back at my interviews, you'll see I'm not always this way. Look back on all my interviews a month ago, 2 months ago. You'll see it's not like I'm like some concerned troll that's like freaking out all the time. If you look at my track record, you'll actually find that I'm very skeptical whether it comes to aliens, come to secret space, even MK Ultra. I write about mind control. Right. And I'm the only one out front telling you guys MK Ultra is a fucking red herring.
Definitely. That's what it feels like. Like, you think they're going to tell you this? Please. It's still happening.
In a lab when it's happening to you right now on television.
And it's way more subtle.
He's skeptical. But the guy that's always skeptical is walking through the library. Actually, he's rushing through the library screaming, the fucking books are on fire. And all you fuckers are looking at me going, shh, we're trying to read. We're trying to read. No matter what the fuck I tell you, it doesn't matter because this is your choice. This is the decision you made. And last night I finally had to realize, James, I have a codependency. I'm stuck on trying to save people, and that is fucked up. That's unhealthy. You need to be looking after yourself. I need to be looking after my tribe. Because there's people that understand this too. And I've aligned with them. And I'm going to do the best I can to mount up with them, create this underground railroad, and write the fuck out of as much as I can. I wanted to start a campground because I have an idea to how to create more people like me, a little ceremony I can create. I've been begging people, please fill my war chest. Why will you give Amazing Polly $50,000 in 2 months? And you'll give me maybe 100. Give me maybe 100. You're giving her all of the fucking bullets, and you're giving me none.
I had no idea she was raking in that kind of money. I'm not even monetized.
Shit. You're making me try and do this with no fucking bullets. And that's why I've had to give up, because I'm realizing you're never going to give it to me because I'm never going to give you fucking heroin. You're only going to give that money to Polly. You're only going to give that money to Praying Medic. You're only going to give that money to Martin Geddes. And you're only going to give that money to Trump and Storm is upon us. Right now, Trump is selling you fucking stickers of Space Force telling you need to chip in and help us out. And if you look at the sticker, it's a suppository. It's a fucking suppository going up your ass, and you're still giving him all your money because you're never going to give it to me. And I've realized I don't even want it. I don't even want it now because this is not I'm not fighting for this generation. You guys, what's around us is going to eat us alive, and it's our neighbors. Our neighbors are going to eat us alive. I have to be planning for something else. I have to be finding people that are truly worth saving. Those are the people I'm aligning with now, which means I can't do this on the internet. It's not going to work. I can't anonymously like someone on Twitter. I can't even be on Twitter anymore because I'm scrolling past all this bullshit. All this fucking bullshit about, no, 5G is actually a secret weapon to kill bad guys. It's just like, and if you look at these people that are pushing it out, what is that guy? Tiffany Fitzhenry pushes him out.
Yeah.
All prophecy. It's all fucking prophecy.
I'm so sick of the
That's who's going to win. Tiffany Henry rakes him like what, 10 grand a month on Patreon? She would never give a cent to someone like me. Why? Because it's not feeding her heroin. She's not able to distribute her own heroin. And she's not even like someone who's like being dastardly. She's simply fulfilling her Zionistic adrenal programming. That's all she's doing. And that's why most of us are going to sink with the Titanic playing the fucking music, listening to Tiffany Fitzhenry interview a guy that's telling you, well, God whispered to me and he said everything's going to be fucking great. So let's all stick our thumbs up each other's ass and have this great, wonderful circle time. It's so bad. It's so bad right now. And I'm activated because I should be. All of us should be.
It's
activated.
time. Seriously, it's
If not,
it's going on a little too far now. We need to do as you're saying.
Stay in touch with me. If
Absolutely.
you do,
Absolutely.
go to my website and subscribe to my mailing list.
Absolutely.
And if you can't find it, you're not looking fucking hard enough. It's literally on every fucking page. If you write me an email going, I can't figure it out, I'm not going to fucking do your homework for you. If you can't subscribe to a mailing list, that's the threshold. You don't make it into the cut then. I need you to do your own homework, guys. I need you to put on your own fucking shoes.
Yeah.
I can't wipe your nose anymore.
Yeah.
In fact, it was the worst thing I ever thought of to try and wipe everyone's nose. It was literally the worst thing I could have ever thought of to try and do. All it's done is backfired on me. All it's done is gotten this where I'm at now, which is now I'm exposed because all I've done is laid out for them. Here's evidence to come fucking get me because I've called you on every fucking thing you've done. So it's all it's done is hurt me. It hasn't really. It's not true. I've definitely found some people, but that time's over now. No more decoding. It's time to encode now.
I think you're spot on. I think you're totally right. Yeah, no one appreciates you wiping their ass, do they? You got to let them do it for themselves. So what?
But they'll bitch at you when you stop. They'll definitely bitch at you when you
yes,
stop.
absolutely. That's just like ungrateful children, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. But that's what you get when you spoil them. So it's my fault. I'm responsible for that. Those aren't my people. I never made an oath to them that I would help them maintain their state of bullshit. I never once. Why would that be my goal? Hey, sheep, since you guys are stabbing each other in the back, if anyone questions the rancher, I'm going to do my best to come around and wipe your nose and make sure you're happy about it.
It's not your fault, James. We're all programmed this way that we feel entitled to an ass wiping, and then when it doesn't come, you're like, the guy who last wiped my ass is going to get it. That's the guy.
And I should clarify. These people know that I'm here too. That they predicted that I would arise. So I just want you to know, I don't feel like I'm ahead of the game. I know that they know that I was going to have a conversation. Like, again, it's not me personally, guys. This is not me being paranoid. They don't know my name. I'm just trying to explain that they know that people like me are going to be having these thoughts and expressing them. Okay, they've already planned for that. Why? Because they've had thousands of years to perfect this. This is all they do. Look at Lance Armstrong. You guys are walking around pretending like the people at the elite they're just normal bike riders that just try really hard. No. If you want to be at the top, you're going to stick a needle in your ass and start doping yourself. That's the only way. That's why everyone in the peloton has dope in them. It's not just Lance Armstrong. That's why Washington, D.C. is the exact same thing. Stop pretending. Stop pretending that someone who doesn't dope is going to be able to get in the Tour de France and run the peloton. It's not going to fucking happen, guys. They're going to give up years earlier because they're going to understand. Either take the needle or fucking go back to being an accountant. And they chose the right fucking path. Why? Because they didn't have a hole in their chest. They didn't have Wetiko.
Yeah.
They said, no, I'd rather have my kids. I'd rather have my balls. I'd rather my scrotum not shrivel up. I'd rather have my manhood than pretend this fucking lie. That's why DC is that way. This isn't about, oh, you're pessimistic. No, I'm actually optimistic because I understand this is how it works. This is why it works this way.
You're so right. Like, I mean, I'm not going to like tell you my whole life story, but I don't know what happened to me, but I was so on that, like, the hedonic treadmill or whatever it is that society wants us to be doing. And I was like doing it, but it just didn't jive with me. And like, I don't know what happened, but recently I just like, it does. Like, I'm not trying to make light of it, but something happened to me and I cannot go and unsee and unlearn. And it's just like, as you said, you only further awaken. And once you're onto one bit, you just like the thirst and hunger for the truth and to connect with people. And like, as you said, there is something that you want to maybe save them, but it's not save them. It's just like, I love you. I don't want you to die this way. I don't want you to be theirs. Like, they don't own us. Stop doing this. And people resent you for it. And it is what it is, you know. We got to carry our own bags to heaven, but
every religion has.
But you got to try, and people don't appreciate it.
Every religion, science, math, scientism, everything has a Kabbalistic spell to it, where one. I bet you my heater's too loud. Where every everything has a Kabbalistic spell to it where, a second.
It's all right.
That causes you to go deeper. When you were questioning, when I was a child, and I was saying, hey guys, why was I born? Why am I born into sin again? Like, why am I dirty? And it was just like, you need to read the Bible more. You need to read more scripture. What they're doing is they're telling you, I don't like that answer. I need you to go back to the Bible and read until you're willing to give me the answer that I want. This is a very important part of mind control. It's reference back to source material until you come back with the answer you want. The Kabbalistic spell works. This is actually built into Judaism. It's not just Christianity. If you look at the Torah, actually, if you look at the Talmud is the oral tradition. You're told to go back to the Talmud, which means you're going to find a million different interpretations of the exact same thing. What people forget is an obsession chemical builds as you start to dig. When you're digging in the hole, you enter into a trance where you're under the impression you're going to find gold. You start to look for the gold. It becomes your obsession. Okay? Anon is a Kabbalistic spell. The rabbit hole is scripture. If you doubt the plan on Twitter, if you say, I doubt the plan, 16 people within 3 seconds will say, you need to read more Q. You need to go back to scripture. It's because you haven't read enough scripture. That's why you're thinking this way. The rabbit hole that all of us pretend is leading us to truth is the exact opposite. All of the programs that they're exposing are meant to make you shocked. It's meant to dilate. It's called dilation. You're dilating your senses, your adrenaline, because you're seeing this horrible thing, and it's making you addicted to the rabbit hole itself. Therefore, the more deeper you go, the more darker you go, the more your head goes into the sand. And then we start rewarding people for who's gone down the rabbit hole the most. I used to be rewarded for that. Before I came out against Steve Bannon, I went up to 8,000 followers on Twitter. Actually, it was 8,500. After I exposed Steve Bannon, it dropped to 6,000 because everyone's like, I don't want to hear this. And then now it goes up super slow. Why? Because I'm no longer in the rabbit hole. Because I'm now I'm outside, and instead of the rabbit hole, I'm crawling underneath the rabbit bush, the actual briar patch itself. It's scarring my back. I'm bleeding from it. The further I go, the less people are around me. My truth makes me alone because most people are in the rabbit hole. That's why it's going to be nothing but difficult. Truth is going to hurt. It's going to burn calories, and it's not going to feel good. You're going to wake up at 3 a.m. going, look, this is the truth. I've been wrong. And it's going to be a shock to your system. And if you don't have enough ego, it's the key. This is where Polly fails. Because she doesn't have enough ego. She's not able to absorb that. She's not able to accept that she doesn't have enough gas to do that. She can't find that. Therefore, she's going to do whatever her system needs to survive. It's triage, right? It's just triage. That's what all of us are doing in the rabbit hole. It's a constant spell that's just making us more addicted to it. And you got to get your ass out of it. You got to reconnect to the soil. The answer is the opposite of the internet. It's so weird, but it's the opposite of the internet. It's tapping into the soil. It's finding the local history that's around you. I'm not saying you couldn't find that on the internet, but the key is to look for that. Look for the soil. You're going to find all your power there. God is in the soil. It's in there. It's in the air. It's in the ether, but you have to remember who you are. The second you remember who you are, all that plasma. Okay, so a sunset and a sunrise is really plasma. That's all it is. That's why the sky lights up like that. If you have plasma inside of you, if you're full of ego, she can light it all up. But if you have no ego in you, she's not going to be able to light you up. She can send all the energy, but imagine a fluorescent bulb with a hole in it, and you put it in front of a Tesla coil. It's not going to light up. It doesn't have that plasma in it waiting for it. You got to build up your plasma. The second you build up your plasma, you're going to notice something that I've noticed. You're a powerful motherfucker, man. Like, you're really powerful when you do that. Like, powerful in an insightful way where no one can fool you. People treat you differently because they smell you differently. They're just like, this is a different creature. This isn't a dog. This is a wolf. This isn't a chickadee. Actually, chickadees are awesome. This isn't a small bird. It's an eagle. It's that kind of thing. You start to you advance yourself in your own power. You're an avatar, a 200,000-year-old avatar of your genetic line. You've been here for 200,000 years. You're not 40 years old. You are not 30 years old. You are not 50 years old. You are 200,000 years old. And you are representing your entire genetic line right now. Do not fail them. Do not fuck them.
People forget that. They forget all their ancestry. And they forget, like, when I see people freaking out over this flu, and I'm just like, your ancestors are turning in their graves right now. They fought, like, valiantly. They withstood, like, woolly mammoths. And you're like, I get sick. It's like, it's just pathetic. It's pathetic. I think that's what it is. People just lack that ego. But
you now have permission to be men. And I shouldn't have to give you that permission, because I need you to claim that power yourself. All of the women around you are not going to shame you right now for being a man. I know that's what Zeitgeist
women need and want men. This whole contrary message is not true. It's not. The egg drops when they're in the presence of a man, let me tell you.
No one's going to give you permission to be a man. A woman definitely isn't. And if she does, she doesn't want a man. No. She wants something you can give permission to. You were not put in the Stargate of a woman to be liked. She fucking went through pain to put you out. She doesn't want you to go around being liked. She wants you to be a fucking warrior. She wants you to be a fucking man. Guys need to be men right now. Stop it. Stop worrying about being liked. Worry about what you've already died, guys. Think about it this way. You've already died. All you've got right now is an opportunity to write your eulogy. What's it going to fucking say? What's it going to say? Because you're already dead, man. All you get to do right now is write how you lived and what happened to you. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm going to write as hard as I can. I'm going to write as many books as I can right now, because I'm not a violent person. I don't want to go kill somebody. It doesn't mean I won't defend myself. That's what I'm going to do. And when I say right, I'm talking about right. How to Faraday cage a 5G. How to subdue this. How to subdue that. It's going to be good, positive, powerful information that's going to make men feel like men again, because that's the only thing I could think of to do. That's my only course right now.
Without men, we're not going to get through this. Like, I know that sounds I'm not a despair kind of person, but why do you think they're going after the women and children? Why do you think that they're confusing the kids with the gender bending? Why do you think they want women in the feminism? Why are they cucking men? Because without men are everything. They built this. And I'm sorry, maybe that's unpopular, but as a woman, there's nothing more valuable than a real man. And you need that. Someone who's going to call bullshit when you need to, who's going to defend you to the end when they need to, who does what is right and proper, not because it makes him look good, in spite of how it looks. Like, he has to, that passion that you were saying, I'm sorry, I'm getting passionate. No, that passion moves history forward. And you cannot let these vile bloodsuckers outman you. You know, like, that's what they are. They're just parasites. Like, stop it. Stomp on them and just be done with it, like, metaphorically, you know.
On that note, this is to the men, because I think it's different for women. I really do. Men,
we have a different lot in life, so you speak to the men.
Listen to me for a sec, man. Fear is not your enemy. Panic is your enemy, okay? When you feel fear, Scotty from your engine room has filled up your warp core. He's fucking put every ounce of plasma in that engine, and he is full on. Your shields are fully up. And you've been told by society that because you're so toxic, the second you feel power, you have to open the airlock and empty it all out. Fear is not the enemy. Fear is going to give you 20/20. It's going to make you see time's going to slow the fuck down when you're scared. You're going to become infinite.
It does. It goes slow motion, doesn't it?
Tap into that fear without panic. Practice. Here's what I want you to do. Practice holding the adrenaline. Like right now, as I'm talking to you, I'm elevated. That's why a few times I've apologized. That's me trying to dispel some, because I don't want to sound crazy. Practice holding that adrenaline, but do this. Like, look through your hands and wring your fingers. You're not flicking it, because that'll get rid of it. You're wringing it. You're rubbing it in. Take that fear and do this with your hands, men, and just feel it like gloves. and realize 3 trillion of your blood cells have looked at you as your captain, and they are fucking begging you to do something with that power they're getting. They're willing to sacrifice themselves for you because they have faith in you. Are they going out saying, hey, Q, I would like to give you all my blood cells and my adrenaline? No. No. Because they're giving it to you. Your pelvis is your fucking throne. Sit in your pelvis. Your skull is your crown. Get inside your body. Every inch. Wear it like gloves. Get real deep in there. Women do the same. Sink down. Get out of your head. Put your feet inside the blood in your body, below your heart. It's going to feel scary because you've been told there's piranhas in your blood. You've crawled up into your head and you've been like, I don't want to get in my... No. Sink your feet down there. The piranhas are not. No. It looks like alligators, but that's your power. Stick your fingers deep into the end of your fingers. Stick your toes deep in the end of your toes. Wear yourself like a glove as tight as you can. You will find all of your power there. Get back in your cockpit. Stop shaming the body. Stop pretending like the body is a temporary vessel. It's not. It is your temple. God put you in
your temple.
The most powerful fighter jet in the world, has been given to you for a reason. And you need to sit in there and do it. You need to get in the cockpit, man. Don't be afraid. Yes, you're going to fuck up. That's why you need ego. Because when you're ego, you're going to be able to go, wow, I really fucked that up. And you're going to be able to keep going. Yeah. You need ego for that. You need pride for that. Mm-hmm. You need all the things they tell you don't need right now, more than anything else. You need those things. Yeah. Think, guys. Think. Put your feet in the soil. She will tell you all this. These aren't my secrets. She's the one that told me. Yeah. She's the one that said, James, this is what it is, dude. This is what it is.
I like how you said the thing about all your cells sort of being on your team. Like I heard that when I was a young kid, and they're like, anytime you feel alone, you're not alone, because remember, there's trillions of cells all there for you, 100% on your team, always. Yeah. They will defend you to the death, literally. They are there for you, so use them. You know, you've got a little army inside of you, just freaking use it. But everyone's depressed and medicated. No. Depression is like you hate yourself. Stop hating yourself, love yourself, and get on with it. Yeah.
Also, stop fearing viruses. Stop fighting colds. Did you know when your body has a cold,
it's because your
body's working?
Yeah.
Your body's working. You're told to fight
out.
it. You're told to fight it. No.
No.
Viruses are not what we've been told. I know I'm not a doctor, but if you look in my YouTube channel, you will find an interview with Dr. Andy Kaufman.
That's how I found you. Mm-hmm.
He's Duke trained. He's a friend of mine. He's legit, guy.
Yeah.
He's fucking legit.
I'd love to have him on. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Listen to him. He's going to tell you the truth about viruses. Mm-hmm. Your plasma. He doesn't say this, but your plasma, your belief. That's how they transmit viruses, guys. Mm-hmm. When you hate your viruses, think about being Captain Kirk and pulling up the speaker and go, yeah, crew, you guys fucking suck. I'm going to try and find all of you and throw you out of the airlock because you're dangerous.
Everything in the body has its job to do.
Everything
is there. Yeah.
Now imagine being a crew member. This is how powerful this is.
Sorry, James. I don't know. I think they're on to us. We're saying too much. Okay, I'm sorry about that. So let's pick back up because you were saying, you go ahead and finish that. Was that charcoal? Looks black. Mm-hmm. Nice. Mm-hmm. You're on to it. My mom always taught me that. It's so funny how we, just while you brush your teeth, I'll fill in the gaps here. It's so funny how you're like, oh, Mom, that's stupid. Oh, no, I'm not going to do that. And we're just such little silly things. And then it's like, oh, actually, no, charcoal is very healthy and you should, in fact, use it. Oh, no, this is this other remedy which you should try. And it's just like, oh, Mom, I wish I listened. It's always like that, isn't it? And but that's really the analogy for how we're what we're trying to do for other people. It's like we learned the hard way by not listening that these things are in fact true and useful and you should try doing them. And then when you go to teach someone else, hey, I learned this thing and it's actually 100%. It's great. You should try it. They're like, nah, I'm not going to do that. And then later, oh, I wish I knew. You did know. I told you. You rejected it. It's funny. The cycle just carries on, doesn't it? That whole rejecting the truth and finally accepting the truth. It's like the stages of grief or something, isn't it? It's just that over and over. Yeah.
Yep. Good way to stage of grief.
Yeah. Right. So you were saying about how it's beneficial that we get sick, and it is. Time. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
I'll tell you that if you look up the Jung's hero's journey, you're going to find a roadmap where we are. Mm-hmm. And
I think I'm
right now. Yeah. We're at the fall.
Yeah.
We've crossed the threshold of the fall is what it is. The threshold is when you admit that you're falling. Mm-hmm. Very important step. The moment you admit that, you're allowed to break open. Let this pain crack you open. Mm-hmm. There's a difference between pain and shock.
Yep.
Very big difference. Pain actually wakes you up. Mm-hmm. Shock does the opposite.
Yeah, it paralyzes you. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's why there are two different responses in your system.
Yep.
Let pain wake you up. Mm-hmm. Let it crack you open like a husk. Realize that everyone around you that's nice to you, everyone around you is nice to you for one reason. It's not because you're nice. It's because you're predictable. People are friends with people who are predictable. That's why you hear things like, he's an old curmudgeon, but I love him. What they're really saying is that he's consistent, and that makes me burn less calories. I can be around him, and I know what he's going to do without having to invest, without having to burn a lot of calories.
Is that why people don't like us, James? Is that you're cluing me into something there?
Why people don't like you. As you start to awaken, now realize you're actually guilty of something because you were fronting in front of them for years, even though you didn't know it.
No, you're right.
In front of years, okay? So you have to give them some sympathy. Yep. You're the one that's fucking up. You're the one that after, in the middle of traveling this long way from, Florida to California, you've gotten to Oklahoma and you've been like, hey, I think this is stupid. Let's start riding horses or something. It's just like, it's so infuriating to them that they're not going to like you for that. Mm-hmm. Let that pain crack you open because you're going to understand what people really are. You're going to understand what truly makes someone tick. It has nothing to do with the brain. Why do the Egyptians throw away your brain? When they embalm you, why do they not give a shit about the brain? They worked so hard. They spent 70 days preserving every part of your body except for your brain. They literally throw it out. They pull it out of your nose in chunks.
They kept the other organs?
Yeah. All
really?
The other organs are separated, put into different jars as part of the reincarnation ceremony. But your brain doesn't. You've been told that you function from your brain. That's like, imagine, here's how stupid it is, guys. Imagine you look out your window in your neighborhood and your neighbor is running down the street with a router and he's screaming, I have the internet. I have the internet. And it's not even plugged in. Mm-hmm. Like imagine pretending that the router, the internet itself is inside that router.
Yeah.
That's what your brain is. Mm-hmm. And people around you are not friends with you due to intellectual reasons. They're friends with, this is why I focus on mind control. In Blueprints of Mind Control, it's all about chemical, adrenal mind control. It's about dopamine and the constriction of dopamine. That's why friends are your friends. It's because you are giving them a reliable source of dopamine in exchange for a reliable form of their behavior. In other words, as long as you are consistent with them, they will be consistent with you, and you guys have a symbiotic relationship of dopamine. You're not friends. You're dopamine-ly communal. 99.9% of the people in your life are that.
Yeah.
And those people, sadly, those are the people that are going to send you away. Those are the ones that are going to say, I deserve a right to know, or James has been acting seditious, or those are the people. The people that I know the most are the ones that I fear the most right now. Because
Absolutely.
I know what people are. And you guys, you're not going to believe me until you go through it.
No, I have seen it.
I'm more talking the audience, but what I mean is unless you've gone through this, you're not going to believe me. You're just going to say that's bullshit. Until it happens. And then you're going to either react one of two ways. You're going to freak out and you're going to get back in line, then you're never going to learn, or you're going to let that pain crack you open. And that's why you need ego. Because if you have enough ego, that pain is not going to feel bad. It's actually going to feel Very different. It's going to feel like an awakening, an unveiling.
Yeah.
And that's why the hero's journey, see, the hero's journey starts and then it falls and then it goes back up again. And right now you're at that point where you have to admit that you're falling. And when you fall, I want you to crash and smash into the earth as hard as you fucking can. I mean, seriously, get like turbo speed and rush into that earth and just smack yourself as hard as you can, because it will crack you open. It will destroy every illusion you've ever had. And when you think you're dead, when you're in a smoking heap, you know, like the Phoenix and all this smoke's there and you're just gone, you're just nothing but carbon ash, you're going to feel this beat, this strange sensation. And that's your heart. It's still alive.
Yeah.
It's still alive.
No,
And
it's
nurture
true.
that. Listen to that, and you will be reborn as a fucking warrior. You will be a badass person after you do that. So take this as a blessing. This is a beautiful thing that's happening. Don't fuck it up. Use it to your advantage.
I 100% agree, but it sounds more like you've got a more positive spin on it, because sometimes what happens is people get disillusioned and like go the other way and they become villainous rather than, as you said, turn into the hero sort of thing.
And that's
So
about ego. If they don't have enough plasma,
Yeah.
they're gonna think that it's an internal attack against them.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so they're
yeah.
gonna-
It's
life
perpetual
is a-
victim, right? Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. It's because they don't have enough ego. If you don't
Yeah.
have enough ego, everything's going to be victimization.
So
And
they
I know
just-
this from personal experience.
Yeah. Just
You
go
guys don't
deeper
know-
down that same path.
You guys
then.
don't know who I was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
You haven't seen that person that was meek and was just like, oh, please like me, ma. You don't even know that person. All you see is this.
Yeah.
So you don't understand what I used to be. So you don't see the potential of what's going through. I'm only saying that because people write me all the time. It's just all this blah, blah, blah. All they're feeling is my ego. They're just feeling my strong egoic field. And they're attracted to it. Some people are confused by it. Some people think it's a sexual attraction. I have to kind of fix that. It's like, no, you don't understand. You're not sexually attracted to me. All you're doing is you're in the room with a man. That's it. Like, seriously, that's all that's fucking happening. I realize that sounds
It's like what we were talking about with the men. It's like it instantly does something. It has this pull.
And I realize-
Yeah.
that sounds arrogant as hell,
Yeah.
but I need you to understand that's how much ego I have.
It's
I
more of
have
a gravitational pull rather than like necessarily it is attraction, but not in that way. Yeah,
Well,
it is.
confuse it. They confuse it.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
fact that I can do that just shows you that I can take the hit to the ego.
Yeah.
Feel free to comment. What an arrogant fuck. I'm going to read it and it's not going to affect me. Because I know that as I was saying this, I was telling the men that were listening,
Yeah.
guys, this is how it works.
Yeah.
This is how it works. And it's going to be
And they ought to
confused.
know. No
Some
one
people
teaches them.
attack you. They're going to attack you for that way because they're going to be intimidated. But the attack's going to feel like a ping pong ball thrown up against a brick wall. Like that's what it's going to feel like. And as soon as they understand that they can't penetrate you, they're going to do it themselves. And you're going to awaken them just by you having your own vibration. Why? Because tuning forks resonate. If you walk
They
in
do.
with a tuning fork at 220 hertz and you
They
hit
work.
it, another one is going to hit it too. And guess what? If you walk into a room full of tuning forks and you strike yours, it doesn't make yours vibrate less because everyone else is. That's why it's magic. It's resonance. I need you guys, men, women, I need you to resonate right now. I need you to have ego. I need you to tap into the soil. I need you to have pride. I need you to realize you're 200,000 years old, because when you're resonating, you're going to wake up your building. You're going to wake up your block. And when you wake them up, they're going to hate you for it. And you're going to have enough ego to survive the fact that they're hating you for it. And you're going to understand that hate, that's your sacrifice to save the earth right now. I need you guys to be hated right now, because the earth, that's what she needs. She needs you as the immune system to take that fucking man. Just like your blood cells gave their life for you every moment, you're gonna do the same for the earth. You're gonna do this. We're gonna do this, man. We are going to fucking do this. But life's gonna be different because now we're against Babylon. We're not inside Babylon.
That's right.
Which means things are gonna change. Eating is the new gold. Food is the new gold. Okay? Find a tribe that has food and take care of them. Respect them. Make them your priority. Stop pretending that you're concerned about fucking kids that are imaginary in a Pizzagate story. If you're truly concerned about child trafficking, look outside your fucking window and watch out for your neighbors. Go outside your local neighbor where you can tangibly see, where someone can't insert a lie, where an anonymous rabbit hole Mossad motherfucking evil guy from centuries ago can't whisper a secret to you about how dark something is. Look at your own children. Look at your neighbor's children. If you truly are concerned about that, focus on your neighborhood. Men, you can only be a warrior within arrow's reach. As
I'm
far as you can shoot an arrow,
yeah.
the only thing you can be sure of. So focus on that. If you're truly concerned, focus on that and nothing
Yeah.
else. Nothing else. Because
I'm
if you pretend like you're focusing over there, you're not watching what's happening right here.
I'm so glad you said that, because the very people who are like outraged by these things, they don't themselves have kids. It's like do something about it then. And you're quite right. And if they do have them, they'll just spend all their time online doing all these things and forgetting, where are your kids right now? What are they doing? Do they have a cell phone? Are they on it? How many, social media accounts do they have? Who are they talking to? Those shows like Trapping a Pedo, where they pretend to be like, oh, I'm 13 years
Yeah.
old. You want to have sex? Like, don't you think that maybe you should prevent that at home? If everyone looks out for themselves, as you said, in their immediate community, that is going to be far more effective. Because look, those things do happen. Like, let's face it, there are a lot of children that go missing, or there's a lot of crimes that occur. That's true. But if you're going to live in fantasy land and you're going to, all these grand narratives, well, there's real things that you can do and people don't do them. And they're way more worried about, like, people spend more time thinking about the frickin' Illuminati and not enough time tilling their own garden and making sure their kids are brought up right. And it's just like, your priorities are so confused that you're exactly where they need you to be because you're not focused. And that's great. You don't have to be a direct opposition so long as you're not in the way. That's good enough. They'll just bulldoze right past you. So, no, you're quite right.
As far as you can shoot an arrow,
That's right.
that's your home.
That's it. All these sort of things that are cliched, like, put down your roots, that expression, you can actually do that in a very real way. Not make friends with your neighbors. Apparently now we're supposed to be distancing, but actually knock on their door. Like, didn't people used to do this? Oh, I made you a casserole, or oh, I made you some muffins. Hi, welcome. This is me and my husband and my kids. Like, nice to meet you. Bring yourselves and your kids over. Anytime. People don't do that anymore. Everyone is like a nuisance. I'm so sick of people saying, oh, people are so dumb. They're so annoying. It's like, well, that's why we're losing, isn't it? Because you don't value each other, Yeah. It's really sad. They care more about their little Facebook friends than, real human beings. Half of those people are bots. Yeah.
Try and spread Dr. Kaufman's video around, because if you can dispel
I did.
the
I
panic-
mirrored your video, if that's okay
I'm more
with you.
talking-
Yeah. Yeah.
But, I'm talking to the audience, but try and spread that video around.
Yeah.
Because you're going to find that that's a really powerful piece of magic that he's done there that's going to help us.
Absolutely.
Because if you're not afraid of the virus, you're not afraid of them. And if you're not, it's actually not even, fear's not even the problem, guys. But it's just, you're not going to fall for the panic.
Yeah.
Don't fall for the panic and touch people.
Yeah.
Touch people with your fingers.
Yeah.
You're going to make a connection, and that's what they want to stop right now.
Yeah.
Because the less time you connect, you're going to become paranoid. You're going to become starved, and you're going to start to Watika is going to set in for those of you who are vulnerable to it.
Yeah.
That's why they're saying the social distancing right now.
No, and Dr. Kaufman has a really good delivery. Maybe for people who you and I maybe are a bit more like excited people, but he's very calm and collected. You can really tell that he was a psychiatrist, or he knows how to talk to people, and he's just got that. People are somehow more inclined to listen to the NPR guy rather than,
guys, I know him personally. I'm not saying you have to trust me, but just for what it's worth, I know him personally.
Yeah.
I know him as a person. He didn't show up out of the magic with the magic thing for a virus. I knew him long before this. In fact, I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I was one of the ones that was like, dude, you need to put this stuff out there. And now Richie from Boston picks up. People are listening to him.
Yeah, I heard him on Crow. So
because of Andy, I just want you to know that he's showing a lot of balls. And if you listen to that, men, you're going to find, well, women too, but you're going to find, holy shit, this guy's giving me some serious.
No, I reached out to him.
Serious,
hopefully he can.
It's the ginseng. He's the ginseng right there, and you need to spread that. So spread that as far as you can.
Absolutely.
Anyway,
I don't want to take up too much of your time. Yeah, thank you so much for all the wonderful information you've given us. So where can I direct the people? You say you're going to go offline, so I was going to say go to your Twitter and YouTube, but definitely get the book.
Yeah, you can find all my books on Amazon. James True, TRU. Just do a search, and
Yep. And you've got the new one in
if you,
April coming out, right? Your new book?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so we'll look out for
I'm
that as well.
also asking for a war chest. I
Right.
realize most of you aren't going to do it because you think I'm crazy or I'm wrong. That's fine, but I'm still going to ask because I want the earth to hear I'm trying. I'm taking an ego hit to ask you for money right now.
Yep.
If you believe in what I'm doing, if you want to give me bullets, I mean bullets metaphorically here, I need a war chest.
Send supplies to the
Find my
front
website.
line. Yep.
Find it. You'll notice I have a Patreon. I'm not alone. I've had a tribe for a while. They're behind me too. We're in this together. We have a plan. I know how, because of my experience in a wilderness environment. I used to work in a wilderness environment with kids. I know how to indoctrinate and unindoctrinate people. I
Yep.
know how to do it, but I need a woodland setting to do it. I need a campground setting to do it. I need to cast a circle big enough in the soil, and I can help. But I need a war chest. The reason why I don't have money is because I've never tried to fill my coffers with money.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm asking for it now, because it's never been my focus. Only if you believe it. And if you know of a campground and you're in southern Appalachia and you know of a place where I can use it, you'll know. I'll take that. I don't want the money. What I
Yeah.
want is the campground.
That's right.
But
It's
if
the
you want-
resources.
If you want to help, I could use your resources. All the dimes and nickels and pennies you put into fucking QAnon. You can fix that. You can pull back that consent and take that money and put it into an ammunition that you want. Use your own. I'm not even asking it to be mine. Just listen to what I'm saying. Go do your own stuff. Fine. That's fine. I don't want to be in charge of anybody. I want to be a fucking writer. I want to sit in front of a fire and talk to people. That's all I want. Okay?
Yeah.
So however you need to interpret that, I'm collecting a war chest. If you believe in what I'm trying to say and you want to fill my war chest,